Yeah.
Couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. No idea. Oh, Nick Bolts. He's with KUSI. He's kids. Talk about that dynamic with these programs.
Yeah, one thing, Bo, with both Southwestern and Grossmont, they've had some results happen because of what the pandemic has brought. Now, for Southwestern, they often attract more regional players. They bring in some players. In fact, their top player, Jace Fuamatu, is a bounce back from Fresno. Played offensive line at Fresno, and I expect a tight, low-scoring contest with a lot of D.
And here's the opening week kickoff to start the 2021 season. That's Christian on the far side. And Christian Jourdain gets it up past the 40, or excuse me, past the 35, and Southwestern will start there.
Yeah, Bo, so Southwestern, usually a team that relies primarily on the run. They have usually a running quarterback, but I think like with everything right now, considering the way the teams are coming out, it's all new for all these teams. Grossmont feels like they have the personnel to make some starting tonight.
And Jimmy Inman out of Atlanta, Georgia is the starting quarterback. He'll quick hit on the far side. And a great open field tackle right there, looked like by number 44, Johnny Shelton out of Mount Carmel, another local talent here in San Diego.
Been representing the local area, and we'll touch on some of those players tonight.
Inman rolls left, feels backside pressure, creates some space, and hits his target, Christian Jourdain, who's brought down inside the 30. First big play going to Southwestern.
Yeah, great downfield move by Jourdain. He really came back and got the ball as the defender had his back to the play, and Southwestern's moving quickly.
Great movement and great presence by Inman in eluding that pressure on the backside. Brings up a 1st and 10. Another quick bubble screen near side. And he gets to the outside, brought down at the 20. That's Terry Augustin, the 5'9" wide receiver.
Jaguars moving quickly.
Inman hands off, and there's a 2nd and 2 turns into a turnover, and Grossmont will get it inside the 20.
Yeah, Bo, that was Colton Guerrero, the former Steel Canyon Cougar. He was there. The ball was popped out. A great defensive play. I didn't see who got it in there, but Guerrero was the man who pounced on.
13:44 still remaining in the first quarter.
Bo, this is Brady Apt, the quarterback for Grossmont. He played in 2018, had 1,000 yards passing.
And a great job by that front line of Southwestern. We talked about run stuffing. Southwestern has a few guys that can stuff the run.
He was an offensive lineman, but here I expect him really to dominate this game. He made the stop there on number 9, Travion Davies, out of Olympian for Grossmont.
The sophomore running back was one of the captains for Grossmont. He's in an offset eye. 2 receivers bottom side. Apt looking that way, hits his receiver, and gets up to the first down marker. That's Monson Payton.
Yeah, and last season, Peyton Monson, he did play some games for Grossmont. He did touch the ball. He's an experienced player for this team. I expect him to be involved in that passing game. Also look for Perry Steele out of Steel Canyon. Steele caught 22 balls. You know, when we refer to these statistics, but we have to go all the way back to 2019, of course.
Yes, that was the last time they had played, missing a season in 2020. So both of these sides definitely looking forward to this opportunity. That's Apt rolling right and gets brought down. The great defensive line applying the pressure on Apt, forcing an ill-advised pass.
That was big pressure in there by Andrew Sola out of Morse. The Sola brothers have been looks like it's going to be a force for this Jaguar program, and that was some good pressure in there. So Abt in that 2018 season, 5 touchdowns and 1,000 yards. He did split time. Around, wow.
Abt looks far side. The quick hitch to his receiver, Perry Steele, who you mentioned earlier, just short of the first down marker, bringing a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, tackle made there by Keswan Mason out of Long Beach, Jordan.
And Grossmont gets quickly up to the line. Chris Carter in motion, up the gut to Peyton Monson. And looks like he got a couple yards, enough for a first down for Grossmont.
Yeah, I think that's what Grossmont's going to look to try to do. Obviously, Southwestern was moving well. Both teams are operating very quickly, Bo.
Yeah, you like to see this pedal to the metal offense here early, trying to catch the defense off guard. That's a screen pass to Davies, and the ball's loose again at midfield. Number 4, Michael Harrington, the South Bay kid out of Modern Day Catholic.
Look, Bo, I don't want to say, it's the first game back in,
but it is the
2
first game
years.
back.
But, I think we saw it on the prep level as well, even though we had the spring ball. Play was a little sloppy. We've had 2 turnovers here, and we haven't even played 3 minutes.
Both sides knowing all too well to get a hand on the ball. Ball carrying a little suspect here early. First 3 minutes of the game. Near side pass. Has a block downfield. Gets to the edge. And that's Donnell Frazier.
Familiar with, and got a nice downfield block there. Let's move those chains. Here's for this.
Inman with Warren in the backfield. Inman gets 6 to bring up a 2nd and 4.
Bo, it's not uncommon for Coach Carberry to move in quarterbacks, even in a series. He's been known to use 2 quarterbacks in a game very frequently.
190. Great job by Grossmont, but an even better job in eluding a couple tackles.
Yeah, Grossmont over-pursued a little bit, but who's always there? Jagger Giles, the former Highlander. That's what he specializes in. He always makes sure that those plays aren't busted for long plays. He's kind of like a stopgap every time. He's made his career out of that.
That was Holloway to pick up a yard, brings up a 3rd and short. Inman looking far side, has a man. Did he bring it in? Yes, he did, inside the 5. Peyton Monson, Christian Jourdain for Southwestern inside the 5.
It wasn't terrible coverage. That was a well-thrown ball and even better catch.
Yeah, Jourdain was thrown open by Edmond, a beautiful ball. And the first scoring opportunity inside the red zone for Southwestern. They made it to the 20 before they caught the ball up on their first drive. And it looks like we have some movement up front. It looks like encroachment on Grossmont, half the distance to the goal.
Well, they'll get 1.5 yards out of it, but it was kind of a big package in there for Southwestern as well. Yeah, you look at Southwestern's offensive line in there. They have Daniel Placencia. He was supposed to be a big contributor. He was a San Ysidro Cougar, number 77, the right guard.
Demetrius Warren in the hip pocket of Inman. Looks like we'll have a timeout on the field. So we'll stay here. Obviously, Inman has shown the ability to run the ball, create some space, some more time for his receivers to get open, and even on a quick drop back, throws a nice deep ball to one of his receivers.
Right now, it is the key play in this drive. Again, Bo, we're just 5 minutes and 42 seconds. We've already seen 2 turnovers, and right now we're at the doorstep for a touchdown. So I was mentioning to you, I watched a lot of college football today, and it was a little bit different than last year's college football with those stadiums. They were rocking. We got a nice crowd, an intimate crowd here tonight. Admission was free. I'll just mention that. The site was moved from Grossmont. Grossmont's scoreboard was not working, so the facilities here at Devore Stadium are pretty nice. And Coach Ed Carberry is a pretty welcoming host. Come on down, Grossmont. We already own you the last 2 seasons, and now we're knocking on the doorstep, the Jaguars. But now, well,
looked like we had a late addition for Southwestern.
Back-to-back timeouts. There's one for you, Bo. That's all for you.
To come out of a timeout and then have to call another one, that has to be frustrating, but yet we still are in week 1.
Sure. And now we can it's our first breather, right, to gather our thoughts and explain to what we were talking about. So Grossmont was originally going to host this game. They've just refurbished their facilities over the last couple of years. They improved the stadium. The stadium was getting very rickety. They got a new field and they got a new scoreboard. But right now the scoreboard wasn't working, so we moved the game down here to Southwestern College. And, great facility. All the CIF championships are here. It's very comfortable for all the fans. And on a day like today, a warm day, but a great day, and I think everyone's excited and happy to be here for some football.
3rd and 2. Are we running the ball or are we passing the ball here?
Well, again, I'm going to run behind those guys, but I do see the isolation out here on the right side, so I wouldn't mind to see Jacob Rosar. He's a former local kid. I could see him getting involved here, the former Bonita Vista Baron.
Inman once again having difficulties on the snap. Grossmont picks it up, gets to the edge, has a convoy in front of him, but can't beat the last offender. That's number 40 on the fumble recovery, Colton Guerrero.
So, Bo, was that a butt fumble? It looked like he ran right into the line, but the ball was somehow knocked loose. Guerrero, he's a man that always is Johnny on the spot. He saw that ball and picked it up, started running before anybody on the play even knew what was going on.
When we look back and review the game, we talk about few plays. Coming out of a timeout, having to call another timeout, and then doing that has to be very frustrating for Coach Canberry.
And frustrating for these guys. 3 turnovers in 6 minutes. Let's hope this isn't a pattern that continues.
That's apt. Drops back. Looks downfield. Nothing there. Some backside pressure. Rolling right. And a great open field tackle by the corner on the outside. Looked like App got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, good pursuit by the Jaguars there. They had the Griffin offensive line definitely running to try to make some time for App there. App a little bit different than Southwestern's approach offensively. He's going to be more of a pocket presence.
Apt had some time on that last pass attempt. 3 receivers to the bottom side, 1 to the top. Looks like Davies Travion is still at his hip pocket. Near side pass to Cheeseboro, and a great open field tackle, Elijah Williams.
Yeah, we saw them get the ball to Peyton Monson there, try to make something happen, but the Jaguars closed quickly there, and now we're faced with a 3rd down and 7, and Grossmont hasn't really shown yet to get up in the air with their passing game, so this would be the moment.
3rd and 7, 7:40 and counting here in the first. Kaloup in motion. App looks right and almost brought in. Great defensive effort on that far side. Number 9, Jaheim Williams out of Montgomery. Jaheim went both ways as a senior in high school, playing safety and running back. Great athleticism from the safety, and almost came down with the pick. 3 turnovers and our first punt of the game. Looks like back receiving the punt is Davis Kahanu. And timeout, Grossmont.
Okay. Well, Bo, while we got a moment, you talked about the frustration maybe of Coach Carberry and his staff, but he's got a veteran staff here at Southwestern. Carberry, 88-46 in his career. They've been to 8 bowl games with Coach Carberry, so Southwestern is the team that is expected to be the better of these two teams right now. Grossmont, as I started to allude to before we were rushed on the air here, but Grossmont feels like, frankly, because of the pandemic, that maybe some players have migrated to their campus, giving them a little bit deeper of a roster than what they're used to. Like I said, just 2 wins over the last 2 seasons. So Grossmont feels like they've made strides. There's just so much unknown right now, obviously, because of the pandemic and our first game back.
High snap brought in nicely. Kahanu Davis waving everyone off. And that's where Southwestern will take over. And we have a flag near side. Some late action going on.
Yeah, or maybe there was the flag came right during the snap, so I think it's a movement actually.
I didn't see the flag as I was following the ball. They're going over to the Southwestern sideline, so we can assume that it's on Grossmont. Obviously, Kahanu telling Coach, hey, let's kick it again. I want another opportunity. But I think Coach is going to take the 5 yards after the punt.
I don't mind that. The field position's fine, and they've moved the ball fine, too. It's just the 2 turnovers so far that have been...
Yeah, I mean, they've really just been their biggest problem, shooting themselves in the foot twice in the red zone.
So it's guys like that, Bo, Colton Guerrero, who got that turnover for Grossmont. Those are the guys, the local guys that they got that they feel have added to their roster to make strides to possibly make this game close. I think Southwestern is expected to win. My numbers have them maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns better than Grossmont, maybe even more. But there is a lot of unknown. Grossmont thinks they have closed the gap slightly.
Warren lined up behind Inman. 2 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Play fake. And has his receiver in the flats. That's Joaquin Dorsey, who picks up 7.
Chance Lovato, former El Capitan star, knocked him out of bounds. Grossmont's going to have to be careful. That's one of Southwestern's staples, and if they're going to be fast, getting the ball to the outside, the race is going to be on. Grossmont can't allow that.
Brings up a 2nd and short, playbook wide open. They'll hand it off to Warren, who gets tackled 1 yard short of the first down marker, bringing up a 3rd and 1.
Johnny Shelton, Chance Lovato, they were there for Grossmont. But a 3rd and 1 now at the 46.
Warren in the hip pocket of Inman. Still 2 receivers to the bottom screen. Oh, quick hit and unable to bring it in. Terry Wright. The ball was a little out in front. Terry Wright felt that defender coming. Not that he alligator armed it by any means. The ball was just passed a little too far in front. And a 3rd and 1 goes to 4th down.
I mentioned they had to do something about that, and they did. They brought pressure. That resulted in the incompletion. That ball was totally forced quickly.
So we had our first punt from Grossmont, and we're getting our first punt from Southwestern with 6:23 remaining in the first quarter.
This is Perry Steele, deep to receive for Grossmont.
And it looks like we have a delay game.
Well.
Flag was thrown from the back judge. Delay game, 5 yards back.
Yeah, Perry Steele back to receive for Grossmont, experienced special teams player, and can be explosive.
The sophomore captain was one of 4 captains for Grossmont. He'll have an opportunity. Steele eludes his first defender, gets a couple blocks downfield, runs into the back of his player. Do we get a late call, a late hit penalty? Yes, we do on the far side, but we do have a flag near side as well.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a sign of things to come, and I keep teasing you every time there's a flag thrown, Bo, but there's going to be at least a dozen more, if not more than that tonight. I don't see, haven't watched too many of these games, and when these games start to have flags early, they have flags throughout. I hope I'm wrong.
In knowing that both teams are going to come out a little sloppier in week one, do you allow them to play more, or do you have to set the tone in week one as a referee?
Well, I want to hearken maybe to the preps a little bit. It did seem like they were kind of given a little leeway there in the first couple of games, right? But here, I think, look, there's a lot of penalties called in community college games where maybe you don't have the elite teams playing. So I would think that's just going to be a result of what happens. I don't think that it's going to change the philosophy of these coaches at all. But look, we're going to be standing around looking for things to say a lot of the night because of situations like this. I've seen one game, I've seen plenty like this. Penalties, penalties, penalties. And not to make light of it, it could come down to be very important which team is penalized least, the way it's going.
We had two flags on the field, one near side, one far side. Looks like we're going to get a response. Referee coming near side to Southwestern College sideline. Looks like we have a hold on.
And then a P foul on Southwestern, so we'll just have to let them. You tell me when he stops walking. You know, you mentioned the captains earlier, and interesting, and you mentioned him right away. You know, Rock Gonzalez, the former Olympian great, is on Grossmont, and he's been on Grossmont the last 2 seasons now. So there's someone who made the trek to Grossmont College from the South Bay.
So it looks like a holding call brought it 10 yards back from where Perry was knocked out of bounds. Then they added 15 yards for the late hit, giving Grossmont their best field position.
And a new set of downs, right?
Davies Travion, near side, bounces it out, gives a defender a stiff arm. A big collision near side. Arnold Esconzo out of Olympian.
Yeah, you know, Bo, there's not a lot of returnees. But Ed Carberry had 19 returnees, but not very many of them played significantly. Arnold is one player who did get quite a bit of time back in 2019, and he made a big, big hit right there.
Yeah, first big hit of the game, and you could really feel that hit vibrate through the stadium as the fans enjoyed that collision near side. 2nd and 5 at the 35. Now in is Chris Darty out of Rancho Bernardo, the freshman running back. It's the first time we've seen him today.
Five more yards of exercise, sir.
So a 2nd and 5 turns into a bigger challenge in 2nd and 10 for Grossmont.
See some other South Bay guys out there too. Big number 66, Haro Zondrick, on the offensive line out of Hilltop, center for Grossmont.
App looks near side. Quick hit to his receiver, Chris Carter, who's brought down quickly, a gain of 5 yards.
Carter's someone that I look to be an impact player at Grossmont. He was an explosive player at Steel Canyon. He can find the end zone, and if they get the ball to him out there, that was great tackling, great play by Southwestern. Carter is a man you have to get the ball to.
Looks like we have an injury on the field. Looks like big number 77 for Grossmont, Derek Rollins, the sophomore out of Kearney here in San Diego.
Yeah, Rollins, a 6'3", 290-pounder getting looked at. Maybe got hit. So he's reaching for... I'm not going to speculate, Bo, but hey, 5 minutes to go, no score, and I think the call's for a low-scoring game. Now, granted, we've been hampered. We were going in once, talking about the Jags,
right,
only to get thwarted, so...
And that's a great sign for Grossmont as Rollins gets up under his own.
Also, I see 64 on the offensive line, Yaya Owens out of Christian High, who was a big-time player for the Patriots, Isaiah Owens. Left tackle.
Darty still in the game behind App. 3 receivers wide on the top of your screen. Still on the single side is Carter. Nice grab. Ball thrown a little bit behind him, but a great grab by Peyton Monson. He's already had a couple receptions here today.
Yeah, Jaheim Williams on the stop. And how about this, Bo? Grossmont, they are at the 23-yard line.
And just under 5 minutes remaining, Monson with a big first down. Great concentration going over the middle. 2 receivers near side. And off the right side with his first carry, that's Darty. He has a short gain. Seems like when Grossmont has moved the ball, they've moved the ball through the air. But obviously they have to be somewhat balanced. And Darty with his first attempt with 4:15 and counting here in the first quarter.
Yeah, looking at the receiving group for Grossmont, I don't see a lot of height. I see speed. So whether or not they can get on top and elevate with Apt, we'll see.
Monson and Carter near side. The double move by Carter. He got hit on the route. And it looks like a flag in the secondary. That could very well be a defensive pass interference. So a sluggo by Carter, faked the slant and went, and Akonzo got faked out on the double move, had to really, at that point, saved a touchdown from making contact.
What can you say about the move there by Carter? It was a move of a veteran, Bo. I mean, he knew he had his man turned around. He just had to initiate the contact. I don't know if he already could judge that the ball was looking to be overthrown.
Not at that point.
But the ball was obviously going to be overthrown, so great job by Carter.
And Grossmont gets inside the red zone for the first time today with 3:56 remaining in the first. Darty still in the backfield behind 2 big fullbacks. He'll get the handoff near side, but a great job right there. That was Andrew Sola on first contact, and then right behind him was Andrew Kirk, who finished the job.
And they tried to move it along that left side again. I mentioned Owens, and this was behind also left guard Michael Toten. Michael Toten out of Holtville, a sophomore. But going to be faced with a 2nd and 9. They could get a first down here, I guess, but you got to be thinking points. You're not worried about getting a first here. If you get it, fine. You're looking to score.
Kadeem Bakari, near side single receiver, open in the flats, and that's a big boy to throw it to. A tight space. You really only there's only one chance you hit him in the chest, or that's really a tough ball to bring in the flats for any running back, let alone the big sophomore 6'1", 290 out of Madison.
Let me do the job if I can, Bo. That's Taluati D'Emanuel, and he's listed as a defensive lineman. And he looked like it there, but it wasn't his fault. I think if the ball was there, even the big man could have caught that one with his paws. That one was a poor touch by Apt. Should have had him. Should have had his man. But now you're faced with a totally different situation with a second and long now. 2nd and 19.
Davies Travion back in the game for Grossmont behind Apt. Apt a quick hit up the seam, and another big hit right there by Andrew Kirk. But great concentration right there by number 86, Kene Kalupe.
Yeah, Kaluk, the former Poway Titan, with the catch there, but it's still going to set up a 3rd and long. And again, you're not concerned. You're just thinking about the end zone here. You can't be thinking about 14 yards. You're going to have to probably take a shot here. You can always get that 3 points possibly, but let's get one in here maybe.
Looks far side, steps up in the pocket, apt. Brought down inside the 10 by the big number 51. You spoke about him a few times today, Faumatu.
Yeah, great tackle by Jace. I don't think Brady was going to make it to the end zone there, but he did have a little bit of running room, and it's going to bring up that field goal opportunity. We might get the first points in community college football in, about 16 months, 21 months.
Kick is up. Wide right, no good. And the scoreboard remains scoreless with 1:41 remaining here in the first. So we've seen both programs, both sides have opportunities to convert, but they just can't get over that hump right now here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I don't want to chalk it up to, the hiatus. That was a great drive by Grossmont, especially considering what I think Southwestern is bringing right now on defense. Grossmont did not come away with points. I think they can feel a bit prideful, at least in the moment in this game.
They can definitely gain some confidence right there. Yeah. Totally agree with you on that.
But again, they really haven't shown yet stopping Southwestern. Southwestern stopped themselves with 2 turnovers.
Inman with the pitch. And a great tackle at the line of scrimmage, 46. That's Taluwati. Looks like a tackle for a loss. Brings up 2nd and 11.
Yeah, the pitch there to right again. You're going to see a lot of that from Southwestern. Misdirection, plays like that. It's part of their repertoire.
Inman with another quick hit and unable to bring it in. Near side. You talked about the athleticism on Grossmont. We can see it in some of these receivers in Southwestern. That was really the first drop ball of the game, so they've done their part here in the first.
Yeah, and you see what they're trying to execute against them. I think Southwestern just needs to be a little bit more patient. Get the ball to the man, let him operate in space against Grossmont.
That's Bryant in motion. Inman rolls left and gets brought down from behind. Taluwati, the sophomore from Madison, with the big tackle and the sack.
Yeah, and also it was Peyton Molly out of Mission Bay. He was also there. He initially got the man tripped up. He kept his feet, kept moving, and got whacked.
And back-to-back 3 and outs for Southwestern. After having a couple nice drives to open their first quarter, Grossmont defense has seemed to settle in here today.
And as a result, Bo, you talked about, did that work out for Grossmont? Look, they didn't score. Right now, Perry Steele standing on the 50-yard line awaiting the punt.
It seems the momentum is all Grossmont right now. And a high kick bounces at the 37. And Grossmont will get great field position once again inside the 40 of Southwestern. And we do have a flag near side. It looked like a player was running on late. So it looks like we'll tack another 5 on.
You're going to be hearing whistles when you try to go to sleep tonight. Bo. I'll dig into the archives a little later, maybe to find out. So this is not uncommon.
No, by any means for week 1. But Grossmont had their best field position last possession and even get better field position this time.
And now is that, looks like it's been waved off, right? That's where the ball was.
No, it was on.
Was it 5 yards?
It was.
They left early. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Travion in the backfield, single back. They'll hand it off to him. Makes a move, bounces outside. Williams trips him up. Great play job by Jaheim Williams. Travion had the edge, but Williams gets him by the ankles, and looked like a tackle for a loss, but it looks like tackled at the line of scrimmage, and that will end the first quarter.
Well, Bo, I'd have to say after one quarter, Grossmont 0, Southwestern 0. Officials are winning. Great pursuit there by Williams. Good speed. I don't think Grossmont, I don't want to say they don't have the speed to get to the outside, but I think, what was working for Grossmont on those short drives were just short hitters down the middle of the field. But in the incompletion, I think, for sure, great defensive play. But again, that's what Grossmont, that's kind of the play that they needed to run kind of to be successful.
Yeah, Monson had it initially, but this safety's over the top.
No football move.
And the screen near side has some blockers in front. Did he get the first down? Falls just short. That's Darty with his biggest gain of the day of 8. And is it safe to assume we're going for it on 4th down here after that 20 or 30-yard field goal miss? I would say so. Grossmont moving the ball well enough. I think they have the confidence and momentum to go for it right here near their 20.
Yeah, I don't think Southwestern is interested in maybe changing what they're doing defensively. Just let that happen and try to make plays on them. Grossmont shouldn't be able to move too quickly on you.
Grossmont's going to run the ball left side. That's Darty. Looks like he picked up the first down, but a flag in the backfield by the head official. What's the call? Usually a flag from that position indicates a holding. And that's what we got. So a 4th and 2 turns into a 4th and 12, which would mean about a 50-yard field goal. I don't see them punting right now.
Nope. The offense appears to be out there. You're right. At the 34-yard line, a 51-yarder. That first attempt wasn't.
It had the distance. It definitely had the distance. Yeah. But on a short attempt, you like to see it go through the uprights that feel like you have some confidence. I think the best thing going for this Grossmont team right now is their offense over their special teams. Defense obviously has played well up to this point as well.
Well, Apt is out there, and it is a 4th and 12.
3 receivers far side. That's Monson and Cheeseboro. App looks that way, but the pressure up the middle. Fuamatu with another big play and the sack for the turnover on downs.
Look, Bo, if there's one game changer on this field tonight, I would expect it to be Chase Fuamatu. And it seemed like Apt had made the right he had gotten away. He had gotten away to get his pass off, and out of nowhere came Fuamatu. So, college offensive lineman, he's a big-time defensive lineman in community college ball, and he's going to have a big year, Chase Fuamatu. Southwestern ball.
Warren in the hip pocket of Inman. Inman looks near side and unable to bring it in was Jourdain. Jourdain's had a couple nice receptions today, his first drop of the day.
Yeah, and that's a couple of drops on short passes by Southwestern, so maybe that's something that gets worked out just in a few more reps possibly.
Jourdain has definitely showed his ability yards after the catch. Sometimes you could get that head moving the wrong way rather than bringing the ball in. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Back to Jourdain, and almost intercepted right there by Ajani. Read that ball well out of Inman's hands.
Yeah, Shelton Ajani, the former Mount Carmel Sun Devil. Not saying that was thrown right to him. It was a tough interception. He got his big paw.
Yeah, that ball had some juice on it. Although if he would have came up with that, he had a lot of green in front of him.
That's what's going to happen, Bo. A big play of some kind that we're not expecting.
Looks like a screen set up. And there it is, the pick. Didn't get it the first time, but the second time is a charm. Shelton Ajani comes down with the INT and returns it inside the Southwestern 15-yard line.
Look, I'm not saying I had a premonition, but Shelton Ajani did have a premonition, right? He read that perfectly. I mean, You look at the play, you look the way it unfolded, and he read it. He read it. It looked like he saw it all the way. So this is the 4th turnover of the game, and again, Grossmont with a scoring opportunity.
Grossmont just keeps getting better and better starting the possession. Now inside the 15. They've been inside the red zone before, unable to convert on a missed field goal. And once again, that front line of Southwestern not giving up any lanes from the backs of Grossmont.
Yeah, I don't know if that play had a chance. They ran a receiver out there late, so there's obviously still some confusion there. It was just a run. The receiver didn't affect the play, but when you got a receiver running on as the ball is about ready to be snapped, not everyone's ready and up on this, so Grossmont's got to execute better, especially in the red zone.
No gain brings up a 2nd and 10. Travion, the single back, 3 receivers top side. Carter and Monson. That's Monson in the corner. A beautiful ball by Apt. And our first touchdown of the day goes to Grossmont. With a lot of space available on that far side, Monson took advantage of that corner, and a beautiful ball by Apt right there and throwing him open.
Yeah, look at his size. Look at Monson's size, right? So he had to get almost, I want to say, under his man, right? And he did, and he made his man turn around, and the ball was already in the air by Apt. So all Monson had to do was turn around and get the ball fall right into his mitts.
And the extra point good, making the score 7-0 with 12:41 remaining in the second. So we see our first big turnover resulting in some points for the Griffins.
Yeah, if you're Grossmont right now, you got to be stoked. Okay, like I said, Bo, I'll just capsulize now. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to talk about where Grossmont's come in position to this game. I already mentioned just 2 wins over the last 18 games, but they've been playing a much tougher schedule over the last couple of years, and now they've dropped down in league, so they're going to win more games this year, especially if with this personnel. Just looking at the roster, not having seen a game yet, I knew that there was some better talent on this team than in years past. You look at the names, if you look at them, there's a lot of East County players that I'm familiar with, high school players, and I think there is more talent on Grossmont. And with the easier schedule, I promise you there's going to be more than one victory in this team. It might come tonight.
Jourdain inside the 5. He'll return near side. And he'll step out of bounds at the 32. All momentum Grossmont right now. Southwestern is going to need to put together a nice drive right here with 12:34 remaining in the half.
Look, it's not a problem for Coach Ed Carberry. He's been here before. He's a veteran coach, and they've made bigger comebacks than this. Even recently, I say recently, not over the last year, obviously, but they've made some big comebacks even on the road just in the last couple of years. So for Southwestern right now, it's just a matter of cleaning things up. Again, the resulting of the great field position for Grossmont was kind of their own undoing.
Jourdain, the single receiver here on the near side. They'll hand it off, and a nice lick right there by number 4. Johnny bringing his A game here today after that interception and a big hit right there to bring up a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, Monson's been good, but he's our player of the game after one quarter. I want to mention Jagger Giles was there also to help with the stop.
Warren on the 4-yard gain. Near side, low pass. Brought in nicely by Jourdain to bring up a 3rd and 2.
And the tackle made by Robert Whitehead. And if anybody on this field has the most experience of any player on this field at the community college level, it's Robert Whitehead. He was the second leading tackler on the Griffins 2 years ago. And
a quick toss. Unable to get to the edge. Tries to cut it upfield. That's Terry. Terry Wright unable to get to the first down. And great pursuit by that Grossmont front line. And help with Jagger Giles, the former Highlander. You know, Giles was a
very, very good player with the Highlanders. He might have even had higher aspirations than being out on this field tonight, but on this field with these two teams, he fits in perfectly. He's one of the best players on the field tonight. Number 10 for Grossmont, Jagger Giles.
This Grossmont defense is flying around sideline to sideline, and another 3 and out for Southwestern. High kick, far side. He's going to have opportunity. Looks like Carter gets tackled at the 31 on the far side.
Now, I'll mention for you, Bo, Southwestern kicker there, Justin McElligott, the former Granite Hills Eagle. He did a nice job there. A good kick, got a perfect bounce, a little bit of a return, good pursuit. Great job by South. All right.
Yeah, we didn't see the call by the head official, but the flag was thrown at the line of scrimmage, which usually indicates either a legal formation or something along the lines of that. Travion single back, Monson and Perry Steele, both receivers near side. Hand off to Travion. Travion decks his own player, Monson, who tries to get in on the block. You talked about smaller receivers. That's not where you'd like to see your receiver inside that front 7. Really no push. And Davies had really only one way to go, and that was through Monson for a couple-yard gain.
Now, I mentioned Southwestern's Josh Williams there out of Gabriel Richard High School in Ann Arbor, Michigan, has found his way to Southwestern College.
Perry Steele, receiver near side. Monson in the slot, top side. And I think this ball was just thrown away. App didn't see anything. We have a flag near the line of scrimmage on the far side. Maybe he knew, in a situation of that, maybe he saw one of the defensive linemen jump, so he knew he could get rid of it. But that would not be true if it was a false start.
Illegal shift of some kind there?
Yeah, illegal shift.
Yeah, and you're right, because like I mentioned, Carter is a guy who you want to get vertically down the field. He's a man with speed. So, you can make that connection with your quarterback if you both see the same thing. That's how it really happens when you watch NFL, right? They both can see it. They're both aware. You go for that home run. Yeah,
all 3 receivers were on short routes, though. So I think that was just App throwing the ball away, not seeing anything, not forcing anything. Comes from the experience of a sophomore quarterback. App looks far side, quick hit to Monson, and wrapped up quickly. Andrew Kirk brings down Monson before you get to the first down marker, and Kirk on the ground. That's not what you want to see for Southwestern, as he's been one of their better players defensively.
6'2", 180-pound freshman out of Chandler, Arizona.
Yeah, and he went down as soon as he made the tackle.
It's cooled down a little bit, Bo.
Yes.
It might be 80. I think at game time it might have been 85.
It was mid to high 80s, definitely.
I might be underestimating, right?
It was a warm one today.
So we know what happens, right?
That's
we know
great
what
to
happened.
see.
We've seen it happen. First couple weeks, as always,
cramps?
we get these.
Yeah, could have been cramps. By seeing him walk off, I think it's safe to assume that it probably was a cramp. He didn't really grab anything. He didn't grab towards his knee or his ankle, anything of that nature. He is limping off, but
they'll need him.
They'll need
him to return by what I've seen here so far.
Monson, slot receiver near side. Single back is Travion. He'll roll right. Apt, brought down. Another big sack right there for Southwestern on third down.
Yeah, 46 was Caden Herbert. out of Everett, Washington. He was also joined there, I believe, by 33 Gabe Acosta out of Eastlake. Great pursuit. That's what Southwestern can do. It's not going to work for Grossmont. They can get there. They have the speed. So
Acosta provides power, strength, and agility, getting to the quarterback quickly right there on third down. And fair catch at the 40-yard line for Southwestern. 8:44 remaining in the second quarter. Southwestern needs to get something going here on offense. A couple 3-and-outs and a turnover on the last 3 possessions.
Hey, Bo, while we have a moment, I just want to mention former Southwestern assistant coach Pete Talvella, who passed away in 2020, one of Coach Ed Carberry's best assistants here at Southwestern, and he's terribly missed within this program, but everyone loved Pete, and they're going to miss him, especially on the sidelines on a night like tonight.
Inman still in the game for Southwestern. Eludes a couple defenders and goes down to the ground for a 5-yard gain to bring up a 2nd and 5. Inman, we've seen him use his legs a few times today, created some space, and a nice gain out of nothing.
Yeah, and getting
for him to step and throw, but we've seen him rush that throw a few times.
Right, I agree. I don't think there has been some pressure, so maybe he is overthinking it.
Right.
And he has enough that, look, I don't think the pursuit is there for Grossmont to get to the player on the outside. I mean, just take a look at this situation right here. If they could run the same play, they could get some yardage.
Ajani bounces out. Another quick hit, and Inman bounces that one. Yeah, that's Jourdain on the as intended receiver.
He had his 2 downfield blockers there, but again, that's the 3rd time that we've seen that play where the receivers had to go down to get the ball. And here, when you go down, you're down. So no need. If they could just get that ball to him, right? He had 2 blockers already. Not saying it's going to be a big gain, but it would have been a gain there. And now Southwestern to punt again.
And another 3-and-out for Southwestern. Grossmont defense playing well here in the first half with 8:04 remaining in the second quarter. And another nice punt, far side. Bounces the wrong way, but still a good job right there by the Southwestern special teams. And I wouldn't say necessarily changing the field, but still, Grossmont's going to have to drive the field in order to score.
Yeah, Justin McElligott, another fine kick. He only averaged 31.5 yards a kick for Southwestern. I think he has a little bit more in him than that. Punted quite a bit 2 years ago, 38 punts. So he is also can be a place kicker, but obviously right now he's just a punter, I believe, for the Jags.
Grossmont starting at their own 29. Monson and Steele near side. The handoff to Darty. And this Southwestern team defensively has been on the field a lot in this second quarter. Nice game by Darty.
Hey, that was good blocking up front there by Haros Andrick. We mentioned him earlier, the freshman from Hilltop. Open that hole.
2 receivers near side, 2 far side. Monson gets the ball in motion. And every time Grossmont has tried to stretch the field, there's been multiple Southwestern defenders there to bring him down.
Donnell Frazier, number 6, defensive number 6, leading the pursuit. If you think Bo and I are calling the same number by different names, Southwestern is starting, but getting a little bit of pressure on that kicker. It looked like on a previous punt, Southwestern had some pressure too, so Grossmont's going to have to protect against that. Like I said, the scoring we saw a touchdown pass. The scoring may be unconventional also moving forward.
Inman coming back on the field. He struggled here in the second quarter. Another quick hit near side goes through the hands of his intended receiver, Jourdain. A little too hot to handle and a little high for Jourdain.
Yeah,
so they're sticking with their guns. I mean, they're not changing up anything. This is what we came in with. This is what we're going to try to execute.
No, and they should. Let's tell you, though, I mean, like I said, Robert Whitehead, one of the best players on the field, one of the most experienced players on the field, is a guy you're challenging out there, and he was on that ball, and even though some of the throws had made it there, that one wasn't going very far.
Yeah, if Jourdain would have brought that in, he would have been brought down quickly. Inman rolls near side. Did he bring it in? No, he didn't. That's Bryant over the middle, unable to bring it in, and a flag in the backfield. And a holding call against Southwestern will push him back.
Well, I was going to give him compliments on how that play was run. It was one of the better run plays we've seen as far as the downfield pass is concerned from Southwestern, but we knew it was for naught. Really, the flag was already thrown by the time he was ready to release.
So the best ball we've seen today from Inman was that, I wouldn't say a deep ball, but it was a nice 20, 30-yard pass downfield through the receiver open. And really, since then, we haven't seen much after those turnovers inside the red zone. And every time Southwestern has something going, they just can't get that one extra play. Inman in the pocket gets pushed outside and is brought down behind the line of scrimmage by a slew of Grossmont defensemen.
Led by number 55, Robert Durami, the former Montgomery Aztec. You know, Bo, I might have spoke too soon. We might have more South Bay All-Stars out here than East County All-Stars. Durami, the former Aztec, leading that sack.
Bringing up a 3rd and 23 for Southwestern, moving the wrong way with 5:08 and counting here in the second quarter. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Good pass protection. A great grab over the middle. Jacob Rosar.
Oh, great catch by the former Baron. The leaping grab for the first down. It looked like the play they were trying to run before, but this time it was executed brilliantly. No one committed a penalty at the line of scrimmage, and right now Southwestern in Grossmont territory.
The biggest offensive play for this Jaguar team here in the second quarter, and as soon as I say that, no flags on the field. It is a timeout. Looked like a timeout by Grossmont.
Okay, well, maybe they need to regroup after that, because if anything,
to give up a 3rd and 23, that has to hurt a little bit.
Right, and that was the one area that maybe you should try to focus in on as far as they were going to try a downfield play. We knew they weren't going to run these same short out routes, these short out plays that they were running, that they were going to try that something down the middle of the field. But that was a great catch. I mean, no doubt about it.
Rosar played here in high school, so this is his home field. He's well aware of, obviously it's a beautiful field, but little extra feels, little extra vibes, being able to play on his high school field, just knowing the area and feeling more comfortable. A great grab by Rosar right there, and the biggest play for Southwestern here in the second quarter offensively.
Yeah,
see if they can get it going.
Nice player for the Barons, too.
Inman finds a lane and gets down inside the 35. That might have been his biggest gain rushing here in this first half.
Bo, I think Southwestern has found what they might need to do, stepping back, checking your read. If you have to take off running, the hole has been there now. That is something to look forward to for the Jags.
We talked about Southwestern's defense being on the field a lot here in the second quarter. The same could be said for Grossmont. And once again, every time the ball is stretched one way or the other, both these defenses with great pursuit and another tackle for loss.
Taluate, D'Emanuel, the Madison product, there for the tackle. Now you've got a 2nd down and 14. Just under 4 minutes to play.
3 receiver near side for the Jags. Inman will roll that way. Has a receiver on the comeback route. And a nice grab right there by number 6, Terry Wright.
Going to be just shy of the first. We might be in a third down 2.5. Call it 3.
Warren,
they got to
the
get to the
single back.
24.
3:20 and counting here in the second quarter. Inman, the quick pitch. Nice block right there by the receiver. Creates some space for Warren and the first down. Terry Wright with a nice crack block to release Warren for the first down.
Yeah, I wanted to say he almost waited too long on the pitch, but it paid off. It worked out just fine.
Sometimes you could pitch that ball a little too quickly, allowing the defensive end to get out there. You almost have to sacrifice yourself and your body right there.
Looked like I got pump faked.
Jourdain, single receiver near side. They'll go to the far side. And once again, the receiver just trying to do too much too quick without the ball in his hands.
Yeah. Again, I mean, maybe we've been critical of the passes, but here that one needs to be wrapped up. You're
right in the
sure to
breadbasket.
get some yardage there, even if it's just a small gain.
Right.
That's what those plays are designed for. Those
Right.
aren't touchdown plays.
Extended
Make
run.
the grab, get your yards after the catch, get back and make a play. There's still 3 minutes to go in the half. You have time.
Wright and Jourdain near side. Warren in Inman's hip pocket. We had movement up front, but they'll call it a false start. Jourdain trying to make his case, saying he moved after the lineman. Where will the call go? It could be a 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 15. We saw the defensive line move first, but they're not going to give it to him. They must have got back in time, and Jourdain left afterwards, bringing up a 2nd and 15 at the 27. Called to 26.
Yeah, I mean, they can get another first down or two, but I'm not worried about that. I mean, one first down would be okay. There's time.
And nothing open downfield. Rock Johnson with the sack.
You know, Rock got in there right away, and he swallowed up the quarterback on that one.
You're looking downfield. Inman would have had to force something, so just with nothing open downfield. Good initial protection by that front line of Southwestern, but that was a coverage sack. Great job by Grossmont in the secondary.
Yeah, Rock Gonzalez, he's an all-star, I'll say it.
3rd and long. And a little miscommunication by the receivers and quarterback stops the clock at 2:06.
Okay, Coach, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm asking you, Bo.
It,
You're at the 33. I mean, you can't.
you miss a field goal, you give up great field position. You're definitely not going for it right here.
This is a 50-yarder.
Let's see what the kid got. Might as well. The near side hash mark. It's number 27.
Yeah, Asher Booth on.
The kick is up. Does he have the distance? He does, and it's good.
Bo Asher Booth, the 24-year-old freshman out of Torrey Pines High School. You might remember Asher back in the day. Well, he's here right now, and he just scored the Jaguars' first points of 2021. And for all of our agony, all the penalties, we kind of have a football game, 7-3, 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Southwestern needed something right there before the half ended. They had been struggling offensively, unable to move the ball. They finally moved the ball. With a couple penalties, moved them backwards, but they got the points.
Look, Bo, Coach Carberry said before the game that Asher's range was 55 yards. I'm here to tell you that Asher's range is 50 yards.
That ball barely cleared. You are right about that.
Great kick by Asher Booth. Southwestern on the board.
With 2:01 remaining in the first half, we'll see if Grossmont could get the field position in order to move the ball forward.
I'm not saying that's huge momentum, but Grossmont better
something.
pick up a first down on the series and get out of here with this lead. I don't think they're going to be playing to go the length of the field.
It all depends on the return. At the 1. And a great job by the Southwestern special teams, tackling him at the 15-yard line. Southwestern special teams have played well here in the first half.
Yeah, Caden Herbert leading the charge there, number 46. You saw him out of Mariner High School in Everett, Washington. So now Grossmont starting at their own 15. Like I said, if you're Grossmont, you've gone all through this point. You're beating Southwestern on their home field. Okay, if they want to try to get some offense together, fine. I think it might be a run.
The Jaguars have no timeouts. Grossmont just trying to keep the clock rolling, and a big hit on the outside. That's Williams. Savion Williams in open field brings down Monson. We have a flag far side near the line of scrimmage.
Couple of them.
We have a holding call by Grossmont. With a great tackle at the line of scrimmage, you almost might think to yourself, hey, go to 2nd and 10, maybe get the ball back, but they're going to accept the penalty with 1:45 remaining here in the first half.
Look, I got the guys I have on Southwestern's defense. I don't mind putting these guys as close to that painted end zone as possible. Push them back, and maybe something can happen with your D.
That's a great point. Quick draw up the middle. And once again, Southwestern defense rallying around the ball carrier to bring him inbounds.
Even that, Bo, you see that second chance effort by Grossmont. He got hit hard. You got to make sure he did a good job to hang on to that ball. That's what Southwestern's trying to do right now. Force that turnover right now on this play.
And Grossmont's going to go ahead and huddle up. Jags with no timeouts, 1:08 and counting here in this first half. 2nd and 15 for Grossmont, just under a minute remaining. App drops back, rolls right. The long pass downfield has a receiver and brought in. That's number 2, Cheeseboro. But a flag in the backfield. A great ball on the run by App. His best throw of the day.
You know, Bo, Donnell Frazier, yep. I still want to talk about it because it was a nice play by Grossmont, but Donnell Frazier actually got a fingertip, the Southwestern defensive back, on that ball. Just happened to be a great catch and a great pass. I stand corrected. Sorry, Mike Jordan, you are still going to go for these yards and try to get something, but with this negative yardage now.
Yeah, the biggest offensive play for Grossmont, other than their touchdown, obviously, here in this first half.
I'd be interested in seeing the stats, but I would venture to say that penalty yardage probably might be more than each individual team. I don't think combined there's more penalties than total yardage,
right.
But I would think that total yardage for each individual team,
at least
which
yardage taken away, added on to the penalty yards, I would agree. And a handoff up the middle should bring us to the end of the first half. I don't see Grossmont running another play here. 13 and counting. Well, it wasn't the offensive onslaught, but overall good play in the first half. Are we going to give that to them?
I will say we had some spectacular. We had some
great individual efforts.
Okay, I'll give you that. Like I said, this is in a community college.
I might be reaching.
In a community college football game, I said, look, you could chalk it up, bro, to the layoff. Being out for 1 year, all these guys, we talked about the preps getting their chance, but definitely these guys did not play football for over a year. So maybe that is part of the factor. But we saw some spectacular plays as well. So kudos to them and to everyone coming out here tonight. We got another 2 quarters of football. at this point, even though what I said about Southwestern expected to win this game, I'm looking at the scoreboard. I see Grossmont ahead. I'm still telling you that Southwestern will be expected to stay in this game, possibly win. But right now, I think just the fact that both teams are coming out a little bit shaky, that I think that we might be in for more of a toss-up, if you will. Grossmont has a chance to keep this lead and win the game.
Well, if it wasn't for two turnovers inside the red zone, Southwestern should definitely be up at this point. They left a lot of points on the scoreboard, more than Grossmont. I don't know if we're going to go to a halftime break or not right now. Producer, what do you think? You think we should go to a halftime break or keep it rolling? Yeah, we're gonna take a quick breather here at Devore Stadium. It's Southwestern 3, Grossmont 7. Be back shortly. And back at you here at halftime at Devore Stadium. It's Southwestern 3, Grossmont 7 here on the Cali Photo Network, the home of Jaguars Athletics. I'm Bo Fertig alongside my partner Ramon Scott, who's provided great color analysis, great depth on most of these local players. Ramon, what did you see? What did you see in that first half that caught your eye?
We saw a community college football game, and that entails a lot of penalties. It's not unusual to see a lot of penalties. Yes, you want to have a well-played game, even outside of a pandemic. But coming back in and seeing the amount of flags we have, it's been staggering, Bo. I mean, I've spent half the first half, is that fair to say? I turn and I look at you every time there's a flag because I want to see your eyes roll back in your head because of so many penalties. But that's what both teams will probably, I would think, look to clean up. We saw in the first half Southwestern finally be able to get something done triggered by that defense. I thought every time Southwestern got into position, it was because of the work of the defense setting up the field position. We haven't seen but really two sizable gains by the Jaguars all night. For the Griffins, they also took advantage of Southwestern mistakes. Griffins have not been as effective offensively, but when they got it close, remember the first time they got close, they did not score. Southwestern did a nice job stopping them, but they couldn't do it two times in a row, and given Brady Apt enough time, he was able to find Peyton Monson in the end zone, a brilliantly thrown ball, and a nicely run route into the back corner of the end zone for Monson.
Johnny set up that touchdown score with an interception, returning it inside the 15-yard line, resulting in that 15-yard touchdown from Apt to Monson. His best ball of the day for Apt. And then I say that, and then I think about that 50-yard bomb that was negated right before the half because of that penalty. So we've seen some big plays in the first half negated because of penalties. And if we didn't talk about the turnovers as well, 2 turnovers inside the red zone for Southwestern, taking points off the board. That hurt in the first half for the Jaguars.
Well, and 2 turnovers each, right? So maybe if this is a game of avoiding the big turnover, as we see the third team running onto the field right here, Bo, the officials officially who might be winning this game. But look, maybe that's where the difference might lie, avoiding a turnover or avoiding these penalties, because it has not been crisp. There have been moments, as you said, but right now Grossmont's in a position they don't find themselves in very often. That's on the road, winning a game that they are underdogs in.
A big 50-yard field goal before the half ended by Booth, breaking the scoreboard, breaking the scoreless streak for the Jags. 7-3, and the start of the second half. That's near side, caught inside the 5. Southwestern Special Teams has done a superb job today, not allowing Grossmont to get to the 20 once again.
They think they have the ball, but I don't think they do. The Griffin offense appears to be coming out. The man that's carried the ball, mostly we've seen 2 backs really so far from Grossmont. And looking...
Yeah, offensively for the Griffins, it's been through the air when they've been able to move the ball. Really, the running game has just allowed a balance, not allowing the DNs to really just dig their heels and go after Apt, who's had good pocket presence, awareness, eluding some tackles, but when multiple DNs are coming at you, it's tough to get around. And the athleticism of Acosta and a couple of the other defensive linemen from the Jaguars has provided some difficulties for the starting quarterback.
Yeah, and it's not going to get any easier for Grossmont, so they still need, I would say, big plays, more so than drives, but drives are always great.
Carter in motion. He'll get the handoff. He'll look to pass. A 50-50 ball and a flag thrown. If that flag is thrown on Asanko, I would be surprised because he had great position on that ball with the receiver trying to come over the back. of Asanko.
Yeah, Perry Steele was in double coverage downfield, Bo. It covered well. The play was actually pretty well designed, and I think that everything went according to plan. Pretty good effort by Steele as well,
and that is an offensive pass interference. Asanko, with his great position, didn't allow the receiver to get in a good position, which created the offensive penalty. And I don't really think Asanko had a play on the ball with that ball being thrown out of bounds. So I am surprised to see that intended receiver create that penalty. Now it's a third and forever.
No. I'm surprised, too, by the mark-off. I thought it was just going to be a negated play, an incompletion.
There was a first down, so my apologies. It will remain first down, 1st and 25 after the offensive pass interference. App drops back, looks near side, eludes some pressure, has a receiver downfield, and well defended by the secondary, but another flag in the backfield.
Well, no matter what the call is, we'll give Donnell Frazier the credit. He did tip the pass as well with a leaping defensive play. So give him a PBU on that one for sure.
Carter was the intended receiver. The penalty call is holding. So mark off half, which would make it 2nd and 32. Grossmont offense moving in the wrong direction after picking up a first down. Now inside their own 10. This is where that front line can pin their ears back. Apt safely hands it off to Darty, who picks up a couple. And at this point, Grossmont just doesn't want to turn the ball over.
Tackle made by Kirk there, so he's back in the game.
That's nice to see
for
the
Southwestern. And now Grossmont with a 3rd and long situation. These are troublesome spots, for the Griffins.
If you're the Jags defense, no penalties. That's really the only thing that's going to hurt you right now. With a 3rd and, we'll call it 27. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Darty, the single back. They'll hand it off to Darty up the gut and gets past the original line of scrimmage.
Nice 3rd down play. Clear some space, clear some yardage, try to get out upfield a little bit and give your punter some room, because the Jaguars are going to get good field position out of this. Great defensive job, but also those penalties on Grossmont. So Southwestern going to be putting their return man about his own 40-yard line.
And that return man is Kahuna Davis. He fair catches at the 40. And he'll bring it in cleanly. Looks like they might give him the 41. And 12:07 still on the clock here in the 3rd quarter. Southwestern will get their first try on offense. Southwestern offensively moved the ball well in the 1st quarter, but after shooting themselves in the foot with a couple turnovers, they went stagnant in the 2nd quarter, but got something going late in that 1st half to get 3 points on the board. Once again, a stretch play, and the Grossmont defense, that's Rock Gonzalez, doesn't allow the Southwestern player to get to the edge for a tackle for loss.
That's a pass. That's a pass, and that's negative yardage. I mean, that's the old Utah play. He definitely threw that ball up in the air, so give him credit for a pass on that one and negative yardage. And a great play by Rock Gonzalez. Been a really, for this Grossmont team, you talk about their 1-9 season, he was a very strong defensive player for Grossmont. Did have a pretty good year.
And he's played big here today. 2nd and 20. Inman rolls near side and is brought down. Great job right there by number 59, Cole Parsley.
Yeah, Parsley out of Henry. And now 3rd and long for the Jags. I see a theme developing here, Bo.
Would you say it's good defense or struggling offenses? We know offenses struggle early in the season. Defenses are just a little bit better equipped for early games in the season.
I expected defense from Southwestern. For Grossmont, this is a very nice job for them.
And a ball thrown at the feet of Razor.
They were 1-8 for two reasons. They didn't execute well on the field, but they also did play a tougher schedule. So right now, for them to be in this situation, that's great for Grossmont. Southwestern, I would say, would have to be a little bit frustrated. They're punting.
And back-to-back 3-and-outs for both sides. Chris Carter standing alone on the return. Planted on the 37. And they will punt it away from him, not giving him an opportunity to return it. Looks like it will bounce out at the 35. And that's where Grossmont will take their second possession here in the second half with 10:34 remaining here in the third.
Carter and another Grossmont Griffin on the roster, Antoine Walker, they were part of a Steel Canyon team that were noted for their punt returns, for their kickoff returns and punt returns. In fact, whenever they would have a kick return, Coach Scott Longerbone would take them to a Chinese buffet on Saturday morning. And that season, they made several trips to the Chinese buffet.
That was a really good team that year. Number one in Division I. Didn't quite make it where they wanted to, but they competed at the highest level that year with exceptional players. Darty, the single back, and that ball thrown behind Monson.
So I know they've seen Carter. I know they've seen Walker. Obviously, Perry Steele, another Steel Canyon guy for Grossmont. I know that they know what they have, but maybe they'll learn a little bit more about their downfield potential, their speed, as they go along. Both Grossmont, obviously, they've had some downfield passes, but like Southwestern, still trying to feel out the offense a little bit with a short game.
Monson and Carter, top of the screen. Three receivers, they'll go that way. But once again, Jaheim Williams. You rarely hear a tackle for loss from a safety, but we've said that multiple times from Williams here today.
And it's not as if it's, I want to say predictable, but when you see a play like that, the way it unfolded, the way it developed, great read by Williams, read it all the way. That play was going nowhere.
Just under 10 minutes and counting here in the third quarter remaining. Two backs in the backfield. This ball tried to get it over Asonko, but he did not allow that pass to be completed. Come down with the interception.
That's Trey Treiler out of Honolulu, St. Louis, a powerhouse in Hawaii, and great leaping interception there. He was just waiting for it. He knew he was going to have to jump for it, but I think he saw his eyes get real big, because I know mine did.
He timed it perfectly. Asonko had been on that side. He was, but he was more in the slot. Asonko was covering the slot receiver, and great job right there.
No, Bo, he had his man. It was underthrown by Apt, yeah.
And once again, it's Rock Gonzalez. Another tackle for loss.
I can smell what the Rock's cooking on that one. He read that one perfectly. It just played right into his hands. He gets the tackle for loss. A lot of tackles for loss in this game, Bo. This is some defense.
Yeah, both defenses playing superb from sideline to sideline, showing the athleticism from the front line to the secondary. We've seen it on both sides here today. Brings up a 2nd and 16 with 9:03 and counting here in the third quarter. Inman looks near side, another bubble screen right through the hands of Rosar. But once again, Grossmont all over that. Even if he catches that ball, he's not going very far.
Now, Bo, we're up here. You've got two veteran coaches. Ed Carberry, I've been watching him coach for over 30 years. Mike Jordan, he coached with his dad. He's been with this program 20 years. right now it's time to mix it. I don't want to see short passes anymore. Take shots now, because if you're going to get into a game of field position, that's not going to fly right now. Need plays.
Inman, behind the shoulder pass, unable to bring it in. Was the intended receiver. That looked like Jourdain.
So in other words, Bo, if I'm going to throw a short pass and have an incompletion, why not throw a long pass and have an incompletion, right? There's something amiss right now. It's just a timing issue with the Jaguars, okay? There's nothing wrong with that type of play. That's Southwestern's repertoire. That's in their play. Right now, though, they're just not in sync with it. So maybe take some different shots right now.
Another nice high driving punt will allow some space for the returner. That's Perry Steele. But once again, at Southwestern, as soon as I was going to show them love, the Southwestern special teams doing a great job, but it looks like a flag will be thrown, giving Grossmont another 15 yards.
Yeah, and Coach Mike Jordan was all the way out at the numbers to make sure that he was going to get that call.
So we've seen 2 3-and-outs by both offenses. I would say better defense than offenses, not allowing anything. Something has to give eventually with 8:37 here in the third.
Yeah, and you're right. But the defenses have been good, but because of the limited flexibility of the offense, right? Even some guys up in the booth can kind of see what's coming, what's developing. So you know that these players can sniff some of these plays out. And I'm not saying that they're early season plays, basic plays. Like I said, Southwestern's running what they usually run. Now, look, they're going to mark this is marked off against the Griffins.
We talked about it earlier in the game, and we kind of dismissed it. But at this point,
no, okay. See, there you go.
The team with the least amount of mistakes looks like they're going to win this one if it keeps going like this.
I'm not sure if the referee's got the chain gang, following along. We marked off 15, then he marked off 10, and the chain gang trying to follow it along. Could have just yelled at him to stay right there.
The line of scrimmage will be the 28. This is the third possession for the Griffins here in the second half.
So, penalty against the Griffins followed by a personal foul, first down Grossmont.
8:37 remaining in the third. 3 receivers near side, Carter on the outside. Monson in the slot. They'll give it to Monson. Nice snag, makes a couple defenders miss, cuts back. And that's the best play we've seen from a bubble screen all day.
Yeah, and Southwestern better be careful. Monson's been the most exciting, explosive player in this game so far. Grossmont operating quickly. Jason Martinez had the tackle there for Southwestern.
Apt will get up quickly to the line. Carter in motion. He'll hand it off to Darty. And nothing up the middle. Maybe gains a couple yards, but another flag in the backfield. So it's almost 1 step forward, 2 steps back here in the second half.
Now, I will say this, and I will compare it with you, just if you'll allow me, in a prep football game where, especially so far in the first couple weeks, I get disappointed because I think we're seeing more of a rash of personal foul penalties, and it's really disappointing. But usually you see them even more prevalent in a community college football game. I'm talking of the personal foul penalties,
right.
Not as so much as the execution of the play style penalties, but we're seeing both here tonight.
Chris Carter, the single receiver near side, guarded by Asonko. They'll go far side. Play by Harrington.
Yeah, Kanikaloop, he was kind of out there, hung out to dry. Could have been hurt pretty good on that one.
If it would have been a good pass that led the receiver upfield, Harrington would have had a clean look.
Yeah.
So it was almost better that they didn't complete that pass right there.
You know,
and what a great just timing for that, huh? The lights have gone out, gentlemen. It's not our cameras.
Bo, this is easy. I've been around sports for over 35 years. It's 8 p.m. I'm venturing to say, are we on, Pablo? Are we still on? Because this is important. Okay, I'm venturing to say the lights go out, and we've turned it into a rock concert here, but it's 8 o'clock exactly, and with all due respect to our friends, my friends down there on the Southwestern coaching staff, it's not their fault, but someone above them has dropped the ball on us here and done this to us. And right now, I don't know if Journey is going to bust out with a song the way everyone has lit up their phones. And that's what you do nowadays when this happens. You light up your phone and look at.
So you're saying because of the time, it's not a coincidence that the lights go off at 8 p.m.
It probably go off at 8 p.m. every night, right? I mean, look, it's dark out. The time, the time hasn't changed yet, but we're getting to that point. They're probably set on an automatic timer, and now we're going to have to get someone to manually turn them on and make even a bigger challenge for you, Beaufort, right here on Cali Photo Sports Network. But look, maybe it'll give us a chance to talk a little bit more about how we've got into this situation with Grossmont still in this game somehow. I hope this isn't something that can't be rectified, because I don't want to see, look, this is Southwestern's broadcast. I'm excited that it's a close game. I'm happy it's a close game. I follow both programs closely, and I want to see this game, played to its conclusion. The lights are still on everywhere else. This is just a field stadium lighting issue. Anybody who's ever been down here to Devore Stadium, Southwestern's beautiful facility, that they have the weight room, the coaches' offices that make this place such a special place to play games, and that's why the CIF chooses it to be the home field of their championships. I'll be interested to see what happens once the beautiful new stadium is finished, what the CIF does, with their championship game. But it would be kind of a shame for them to leave here, because the attendance, the amount of seating is so perfect. But obviously for the North County teams, a little bit tougher to get to this venue. A little bit farther, I'll say. I wouldn't say tough to get to this venue.
So does this help either program at all, either team, offensively, defensively? Do you see this providing an advantage? I
can only see this adding to more and more inept play. I don't want to be flippant about it, but okay.
The lights still are not on. We're gonna try to do something. You've been hearing our voices the whole time. We're gonna try to get on camera to put a face to the name, or name to the face, a voice to the. And we're coming to you from the field, straight here. Beaufort, Ramon Scott, coming to you live from Devore Stadium. 7-3 Southwestern still chasing. We've seen some great individual plays, and we've seen some collapses penalty-wise.
Bo, if you're asking me if this situation is going to affect either team, like I said, I mean, it's only going to, I think, create these teams to kind of be in a little bit more funk than they already are, quite frankly. So that's all I want to see right now, is a little bit sharper execution. The team that comes through with a little bit more clean play, talking about avoiding penalties and not committing a turnover, is going to end up winning this game. And when you're talking about a 7-3 football game, a community college football game, so many of these finishes, we see so many crazy things that could happen coming down the stretch. In a way, I root for something like that, something maybe that is unexpected and we hadn't seen before, and this game's kind of shaping up like that.
You've seen a lot of community college football. Have you experienced a moment like this?
I don't know about a blackout necessarily, or the lights going out, but like I said, I mean, it's 8 p.m. Obviously, someone has just dropped the ball on it there, but look, Bo, it's just great to have community college football back for everyone. As goofy of a situation as this might be, I looked out at the crowd. I see I'm going to say 500 people here. Attendance was free tonight, and they're all here, and we're all excited to be back with community college football because we talked about it. Even though college football came back, even though high school football had its spring season, community college football has not had a season. So, again, we're ragging on the rustiness, the penalties, which, like I said, is not totally surprising, maybe even a few more than usual. And these games are often littered with flags.
It's nice to see the crowd, the community come together. Initially, it didn't look like there was going to be too many fans, but they have trickled in throughout the game, so that has been nice to see. And it's Grossmont Southwestern. Does one team gain an advantage over a win than the other in this situation?
Well, look, these two teams, these programs have been going at it since the 60s, right? And maybe the tide has switched over the last couple of years to Southwestern. They've been the better club. Grossmont, they have their own championship history, a former national championship team under Mike Jordan's dad, Dave Jordan. They've been the power before as well. So I think for Southwestern, they're usually the big king in San Diego. But right now, you look at the rankings, the way the preseason polls went, Mesa, maybe fittingly, they've been a little bit better. They built up a little bit more. Looking at their roster this year, I think Mesa probably has a pretty good team again. And it comes down, that last game of the season, Mesa and Southwestern, as Coach Carberry likes to call it, the king of the county, and it might come down to those teams again. Grossmont notwithstanding, let's be fair, they're winning this game, and we know, Palomar and their great history as well. But when you talk about the four programs, Southwestern's kind of been the kingpin over the last, almost close to a decade now with Coach Carberry, and I kind of expect that to continue. But as I said, Bo, the landscape has shifted just a little bit as far as where players are ending up, and I think that's just unfortunately, a result of the pandemic. Nobody wants to be necessarily in the positions that we're in. We all want to be back to normal, but with every passing day and every event that we attend, broadcast, we're getting there. And
the clock reads 7:57. Grossmont up 7-3. You can see the lights are on here, but on the field the lights are off, and surrounding area we can see lights as well, so it's not a complete blackout of the block. It's just an issue with the stadium lights. You talked about Grossmont going down a league, maybe a little bit more competitive for them. That's something you'd like to see for the Griffin program.
Yeah, a team that's won basically 2 games over the last 2 years. So going down this year, I expect Grossmont. I think we're seeing it here tonight. I think they're competitive. I think they're very competitive with Southwestern. I would say, looking at Southwestern's performance tonight, like I said, Bo, they will be frustrated. They want to be a little bit better than what they've shown. I think they expect to be a little bit better. But the way I analyzed the game coming in, just the fact that Grossmont, thinking that they had added additional talented players, maybe some of those players that were going to go to Southwestern ended up at Grossmont because of the pandemic status and everyone kind of scrambling. We know that the South Bay community has been hit harder by the pandemic, so maybe that has also affected some of the regional attention that Southwestern often gets from players who end up here. We talked about Jace's play and him coming in from Fresno State. They usually can acquire multiple players maybe of his ability, but right now he's the guy. And frankly, if you had to pick maybe a couple of stars, I think so far for Southwestern, Jace has been big, and Monson for Grossmont.
And we're still here inside the score box. Lights are on, but the field lights are off. 7:57 remaining in the third quarter. Grossmont with the ball, 2nd and 20. They're up 7-3. It doesn't look like the lights have even started remotely coming on right now, so probably another 20 minutes.
Well, back in the day when you'd have this happen to like a high school game, it always happens and again, here we are. I'll tell you this, Bo, it always happens in the first game of the season because the guy forgot to do the timer, and now he'll know after this. But this is not You asked me if blackouts are common, and I would say they might be more common than you might expect, but it usually always happens in the first game of the season.
So the last time these two teams have played each other was 2 years ago. Southwestern got the best of Grossmont. Grossmont beat Southwestern in 2015.
52-10. It was the last time that they had won a game in this series, Bo, and so the series has kind of been owned by, well, they've only met twice since then. They actually, for two teams that have met so many times since 1962, they actually kind of took a couple of years off, and it was because I don't want to put words into Jordan's mouth or Carberry's mouth, but there had been a bit of a difference in the gap between the two teams, and that difference still is in effect today. But like I said, maybe Grossmont is making strides, and that's why we're seeing the kind of game that we are. Southwestern won in 2019, 42-3, and the year before that, Southwestern won 37-20. That was a game played at West Hills High School on that blue turf. They played that game because because Grossmont has recently had their field refurbished. They got new turf, they got new stands, they got a new scoreboard, and like I said, unfortunately, apparently that scoreboard's not working, and that's one of the reasons why we're down here tonight at Devore Stadium.
You have the schedule, I believe, of upcoming games for Southwestern.
Well, this is for Southwestern. We'll take a look at that next week. They're going to 3 straight home games, right? We're going to host Canyons, then we're going to host Palomar, another matchup for the King of San Diego County that Ed likes to call it, then hit the road at Cerritos and at Chaffee before taking a bye. Home games against Golden West and Fullerton, then at Saddleback, at San Bernardino Valley before we get back to that final game of the season against the Mesa Olympians, Bo. And Mesa does have a pretty good team with a roster littered with San Diego County high school products, and they've been doing a great job. They are the program, if anything, right now that's kind of on the rise. They passed maybe Southwestern a little bit. It's funny because, the San Diego coach played under Ed Carberry at Monte Vista High, and San Diego Mesa is kind of the team making noise among the 4 San Diego County teams in community college football right now.
Now, when you talk about athletics here at Southwestern, where does the football program line up with some of the other major sports?
Well, you look at this beautiful stadium, right? I mean, this is a big-time facility, and they play other sports here, but this was built, basically for this program. I mean, Southwestern's got a very, very nice football program, a nice athletic program as well. I think that they attract student athletes not only from the South Bay, but from the entire county, and I think that their roster always shows that as well. And I'm talking about the other sports, not just football.
Yeah, if Southwestern isn't winning games, they've always been competitive, and that's one thing Coach Carberry can hang his hat on.
No doubt about it. And Coach Carberry, wherever he's been winning. He coached at Monte Vista High for a number of years, was a extremely successful coach there before coming to Southwestern and taking over this program. And like I said, I mentioned it during the broadcast, Bo, but just want to mention that last year when Coach Pete Talvela passed away, just a big part of this Southwestern program, and I know that this coaching staff is thinking about Pete tonight before the game. They really, not only do they miss him, his coaching and leadership, but probably missing him in this game. Pete's a guy that really would have gotten this unit together, promise you that.
And because we have the time, big hit for the prep scene. A coach that used to coach on this same field right here won a state championship. A big hit for the Mayor Mesa head coach.
Oh, yes. Chris Thompson, really one of the brightest names. Really, he's a veteran coach now in this county. As you said, led Bonita Vista to that title. He coached at Vista. He coached that Helix team in 2017 that went on that state, that big run in their CIF year. And he passed away just yesterday evening. Just so sad because he was someone that everyone in this high school football community looked up to as one of the best coaches. Just 53 years old, he really was in the prime. He was he battled cancer, and so he had just taken ill. He passed away suddenly. We really don't know a lot about Coach Thompson's passing. It really just broke this morning, and it just hit everyone so hard. You saw on social media coaches from all over the county. I'm talking about major head coaches that had an affinity for this man and admired this man. And you look at Mira Mesa, Bo, they've had 3 head coaches in that school's history, all of them legends and all of them well loved and admired. And Thompson, although he was just there for a handful of years, he was heading in the same direction if he didn't already achieve that type of admiration and notoriety.
Yeah, if you were anyone in the prep scene, you knew who Coach Thompson was. Our hearts go out to the Thompson family. And we're still here, 7:57 remaining in the third quarter. Grossmont with the ball. It's 2nd and 20. Grossmont with the lead, 7-3. We're going to wrap it up here and wait for these lights to turn back on here at Devore Stadium. Stay with us here on the Cali Photo Network. And the lights are back on here at Devore Stadium.
Bo, the lights aren't even fully back on.
No,
These guys
they're
are
not.
ready to play.
2nd and 20, Grossmont with the ball. Grossmont moving right to left in the green unis. Southwestern gold bottoms, white tops. A quick hit to Monson. And another tackle for loss by that secondary. Great job by the Jags D, creating a 3rd and long.
Yeah, and then Jace Fuamatu came in to solidify the tackle. So now I think we're almost at full power. Not quite the Super Bowl 49ers and Ravens that had the blackout. Talked about, have you seen any? That was a pretty big one.
That was. 3rd and long. 7:05 in counting in the 3rd quarter. App looks far side to a single receiver. And the Jaguars D rallies to bring up a 4th down.
Hey, that's Jamie Van out of Grossmont High with the reception there for the Griffins. Did you ask the staff about overtime pay?
I did not. I do this because I love it.
Well, with a game like tonight, you better. And Southwestern's going to get some decent field position.
Was that believable, Ramon?
Mm-hmm. I'm not getting any younger, so we better get some scoring.
And the ball will be picked up at the 28-yard line. That's where Southwestern will start their 3rd offensive possession here in the 3rd quarter.
Right, we think about the players having to kind of gather themselves. I'm not saying that we needed to. We didn't want that break, obviously. No. So the teams certainly did not want that break. They can't find a rhythm anyways, right?
5 offensive possessions. I want to say no first downs at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think either team has gotten a first down. 6:14 remaining in the 3rd. Do we have a new quarterback? I think we do. Southwestern has a new quarterback in for the first time today. A handoff, and once again, that front line of Grossmont not giving any.
Yeah, the run there by Demetrius Warren, I mentioned earlier, out of Chandler, Arizona.
Looks like Stevie Orr.
Okay. Oh, your quarter.
Stevie Orr, the 6'3", 200-pounder out of Davenport, Oklahoma. His first snap. So we've seen Inman through 2.5 quarters. We saw some great moments where he looked good, and then we saw some moments where not so much. So in comes Orr. 5:30 and counting in the 3rd quarter. And once again, every time the Southwestern offense tries to stretch it out, the Griffins are in position for a tackle for loss.
And again, it's Taluate DeManuel out of Madison. It's not the first time we've called his name tonight. He's had at least 2 other big stops.
Yeah, every time Southwestern attacks that right side, it's been him and Gonzalez and Ajani. They've done a great job not allowing any of the ball carriers to get to the outside. Now under 5 minutes remaining in the 3rd. 3rd and 25. Long ball downfield over through the intended receiver.
I see 4 Griffins down there and 2 Jaguars.
That's not good numbers for the offense, as the Jaguars will go 3 and out once again with 4:44 remaining on the clock here in the 2nd half.
I talk about Carberry. He won exactly 100 games as a head football coach at Monte Vista. If the season goes well here at Southwestern, Bo, he's going to pass 100 games at this level too. So how about that?
That's a great accomplishment for a coach who has sacrificed a lot of years and time into programs in our youth. And our youth have definitely benefited because of it. So with this penalty, Grossmont with an opportunity to get the ball in good field position. Looks like Carter and Steele looking to return the kick. And Steele will let it bounce. Thought he might have had a chance to catch it in the air for a possible return.
I'm just scanning the field for flags, Bo, before I tell you that the Griffins will take over at their own 48.
And Griffins with good field position. This is their fourth offensive possession here in the second half. Still looking for their first down with 4:23 remaining in the third.
Palomar leading Victor Valley tonight 31-3 in the fourth quarter.
Brady Apt still behind snap for the Griffins. Hale handed off to Darty, and a great tackle by a Jags defender. Number 9.
Yeah, Jaheim Williams.
Williams.
He's had a pretty big night. He's made a lot of tackles. Most of them, you talk about him coming up, most of his tackles have been within 5 yards of the ball.
With a couple tackle for losses, and this one, a great open field tackle, gave up 2 yards, but all solo tackles as well, which is also impressive to note. Darty still in the backfield for the Griffins. Apt will drop back, look left, throws it deep, but great defense over the top. That's Michael Harrington from Mater Dei. Harrington played linebacker in high school too, which just shows to his athleticism.
Yeah, good idea, but it wasn't going to work. The double coverage and ball was, I would say, thankfully overthrown because that, unless it was a great catch out of that in between two defenders, that was going nowhere.
Yeah, Chris Carter, the intended receiver, was definitely bracketed. Would have been a tough catch to bring in.
He's the man I want to see get vertical if I'm Grossmont.
3rd and 8. They go back to Carter on the out route. Did the corner get there too early? No, he didn't. Great defensive play by Donnell Frazier.
Yeah, the former El Camino Wildcat. Good to see another punt. It's 4th down and 8.
That makes it 7 offensive possessions. Yet to see a first down with 3:34 remaining in the third. But they didn't move backwards this time, which is positive. A positive takeaway. Almost blocked.
That's a brilliant kick if they can cover it.
And they do a great job. Down inside the 5. We'll call it the 1.5 yard line. But a flag is on the field.
The Jaguars, after a while, not going to be able to play the field position game for much longer. With just 3:23 to go in the third quarter. Look, it's hard to sustain a drive, obviously, at this point. So my suggestion would be that try some vertical action, incompletions at the line of scrimmage. I know we have a change of quarterback, and like I said, Bo, Ed has not shied away from playing 2 quarterbacks in the game.
And the penalty was on the Griffins, giving the Jaguars offense some space, being backed up inside the 2 yard line. That would have been a tough task. But nonetheless, brings the ball out to, we'll call it the 16 yard line. This would be the Jaguars' 4th offensive possession with 3:23 remaining in the third quarter. Stevie Orr back in the game. This will be his 2nd offensive possession. 2 receivers near side, 2 top side. Orr pressure up the middle. Drops it off to his running back. That's number 10, Albert Robinson. And our first down here in the third quarter at the 3:15 mark.
Shelton Najani again with another nice tackle. But that's moving the chains a little bit.
Nice check down by Orr. Once again, 2 receivers to the near side. Or looks that way. The pressure from the outside and up the middle all over brings down Orr for the sack.
Well, Rock Gonzalez led the charge, but enough Griffins got in there. They just got to him.
Whether it's been a stretch play, an end around, or the quarterback dropping back, Gonzalez has been on it.
I see Anthony Lombardo in there, the former Helix Highlander, number 90.
The big sack brings up a 2nd and 16 with 2:08 and counting in the third quarter. And the delay game, they were asking for the Griffins sideline, and they got it. And the Jaguars offense continues to move backwards.
Look, the numbers are there for Southwestern. The rosters are just as big because many players are able to come back and grab that extra year. But there's just not a lot of experience. There's experienced players. All these guys have played a lot of
just
football,
not at
obviously,
this level.
but at this level, yeah.
Right. Robinson in the hip pocket of Orr. Orr once again pressured from Johnson, eludes the tackle, gets it to Robinson who dives, but the ball is jarred loose. Incomplete pass, but once again it's Rock on the outside.
Well, I'm going to give credit now to the Grossmont defense on that particular play. I mean, some of it has been Southwestern's own doing, a little bit with ineffectiveness, but right now Grossmont's doing a real nice job defensively. It's quite frankly refreshing on their behalf, I would say.
Brings up a 3rd and 21. 3 receivers in near side. Orr will roll that way. Gonzalez almost with another sack. The deep ball one-on-one and unable to bring it in. Had it in his hands.
Yeah, that was your man again, Christian Jourdain, but right there was Robert Whitehead. He's known as a pretty hard hitter, and he went up for the ball. I'm not sure that he would have secured it. It was obviously because he was jostled. You could see his mouthpiece even fly out. I believe that was the receiver's mouthpiece that flew out as he was trying to secure the ball, and the contact definitely made the result in dropping that football.
Well, you've mentioned Whitehead a few times today. That's the last guy you will go after. And he showed you why there. Steele and Carter on the punt return. Steele will let it bounce. He'll pick it up. Makes one defender miss. Makes another miss. And another flag on the field. It is special teams, so it'll only be fitting.
Well, at least we got to see a little bit of what I mentioned to you about Perry Steele. He has some shiftiness to him. When he gets out on the open field, you will see some speed, but he's elusive. He's not a full-type sprinter. He's a guy that can move in between players when moving with the ball.
1:18 on the clock here in the third quarter, and a holding penalty against the Griffins. Line of scrimmage will be the 39. Griffins still looking for their first down here in the third quarter.
And I would say as far as Grossmont and their ability to move the ball, we'll see what happens, in this series now. But 1:18 to go. Of course, you want to get another scoring drive together, but really we're just looking for some confidence from these offenses right now.
Brady App still in the ballgame for the Griffins. Monson in the slot. Cheeseborough, far side receiver on the outside. And the handoff to Darty will give him a couple yards.
Tackle made by Alpha Sola there, Andrew's brother, both from Morse, both freshmen.
Under a minute remaining here in the third quarter. It's the Griffins 7, the Jaguars 3 here on the Cali Photo Network. Darty the single back, Cheeseborough near side. Guarded by Sanko. App drops back, has a receiver over the middle. Unable to connect with his intended receiver. Number 86, Kaloup.
We've seen him hit on that play once or twice. It was obviously there that time again. App just missed his throw there. That should have been a gainer.
Stops the clock at 34 seconds in the third.
It's really the only type of serious downfield play. I don't even want to compare it to that touchdown, but the only kind of downfield play that's worked for Grossmont. You'd think Southwestern could see that coming.
Two receivers on the near side, Monson and Cheeseborough. Cheeseborough on the outside. Apt with the play fake, gets it out quickly. Hits his intended receiver 1 yard, maybe 2 short of the first down marker. They're going to say his knee hit early. It's going to be 4th and 2, and I don't see the Griffins going for it.
Savion Williams, Michael Harrington, they're on the stop. 4th and 2 at their own 47.
And Coach Jordan's going to have some time to think about it with the time running out. That will be the last play of the third quarter.
We're going to take the long 6-yard walk and hold up our fingers in the air, apparently.
So with the way this game's going right now in the fourth quarter, Griffins with the lead, do you go for it and try to make a statement, or do you allow your defense to do what it's done up to this point?
I can't do anything with my offense, right? I'm not moving the ball, so I've got to just try to move it as far as I can. The best way to do that is with a kick. So sure, the other team is not driving on my defense either, but I'm looking to take advantage of some field position down the line. So I would think if I'm Grossmont, I'm looking to punt, get down there, hope to hold them like we have been, and maybe get the ball back around midfield once again.
You know, with the athleticism and skill players of Southwestern, you feel something eventually has to give. The Griffins have allowed Southwestern to stay in this game, and with the athleticism and skill from these receivers and running backs, eventually you would think something has to break.
Now, look, no one is back deep right now for Southwestern. They're sending guys on the field. It's obviously they're going to have to call a timeout.
And that's a tough hit, coming out of the break to have to call a timeout.
You know, maybe they didn't see it like I was, and maybe, look, the Griffins obviously disguised themselves at the beginning when walking out because Southwestern was not ready to field a punt right there. But like I said, Bo, I'm not willing to try to get 2 yards to let them have a 47-yard field if I don't get it. They're not going anywhere anyways, so why not try to get the ball downfield with a punt? Maybe I can make my defense have something happen. I'm speaking from a Grossmont perspective.
And the punt team is on for the Griffins. A high boot. And brought in right there by Kahunu.
Nice grab. Nice grab. Those are the ones you worry about. The short ones they're floating and wobbly.
And Davis brings it in at the 31. That's where Southwestern will start their next offensive possession with 14:53 remaining in regulation.
Look, Bo, one thing that Southwestern is going to do after this game is go back and look at the play of their offensive line. If Grossmont is able to get this type of penetration on Southwestern, I think Southwestern right now is a little bit slow on the offensive line. They need to be quicker.
Or looks near side, hits his intended receiver, that's Terry Wright, goes down and brings the ball in for a nice 6-yard gain.
Well, and that's the play they necessarily weren't hitting on earlier in the game with the other quarterback. I'll say it. Doesn't have to be a big gainer. That's just a play to gain yardage.
Two receivers to the left, two to the right. Orr comes near side. And it looks like he'll pick up the first down. Great pursuit right there.
I was almost about to yell at him, do not pitch that ball. It looked like it was going to be a pitch. I don't think he was ever going to pitch it with the man so close to him. It's a play that may be designed for a pitch.
We had seen them run that play once before and allowing the defensive end to get upfield and then pitching it to the running back for a nice gain. But in this situation, the running back was the lead blocker for Orr. Terry Wright in motion. They'll fake his way. And once again, the pressure up the gut. Another tackle for loss for the Griffins.
Yeah, Jagger Giles was in there, Arturo Torres, a couple of Highlanders wearing green for the Griffins. And now, 2nd and 11.
Near side, quick hit, and unable to bring it in. You know, that ball was thrown a little low. Even if Jourdain does come down with that, he's not doing much with it. They're just trying to find a way to get it in these explosive players' hands, and really, because of the Griffins' D, have unable to do so.
I'm not bagging on it. The offenses are struggling, but it's intriguing. How's that? It's intriguing.
3rd and 11 on their own 42. Or near side, finds right in the flats, has to make a couple defenders miss, breaks a couple tackles, and picks up the first down for the Jags. First time we've seen open field misses for that Griffins defense.
And he's a guy you want to get the ball to. So, and I'll say this, Colton Guerrero for Grossmont making that stop. They often don't have that guy. That's been a missing piece for Grossmont. So good tackle there, but great play, great gain.
And provides some juice to that sideline of the Jags. This is Robinson. Gets tackled out of bounds, but a nice 5-yard gain. And the energy has picked up, and we have a flag thrown by a referee who wasn't even in the scrum.
No, and Jagger Giles was in there, and there was some conversation between some of the Griffins, maybe.
That's a tough one. You know, with as many flags that have been thrown, it's one of those where it's just like, let the guys play at this point. Penalty called. And an interception, back-to-back tough plays for the Jags. And Robert Whitehead, you've mentioned him a few times today, not the guy to pick on. He comes down with the INT.
Yeah, the former Cougar. It looked like he was the intended receiver. Didn't look at him. He's acknowledging some friends up there in the crowd.
Yeah, great position. Got his head around just in time. And Robert Whitehead, with a couple pass deflections, comes up with his first interception of the 2021 season.
Yeah, he's had a big game, no doubt.
Darty off the left side. And once again, another tackle for loss for this Jaguar defense. Sideline to sideline. I don't know if I could give either one of these teams an edge, but they're flying all over the place defensively.
They are, and I'll say both offensive linemen are moving. Both offensive lines are moving slow.
Darty, the single back, 3 receivers near side. Monson looks his way, finds some open space on the far side. Williams with the open field tackle. Brings down Apt for a small gain.
First time we've really seen Apt on the move.
Right.
At least out of the pocket. We saw him run up the middle, but it showed some escapability there.
5 on the Griffins' 39-yard line. Monson in the slot near side. They look his way to Monson. Just didn't get his head around quick enough. The ball was released quickly from Apt. It was on target, but Monson unable to bring it in.
Well, it's going to make a 4th down and 6 from the 39-yard line. So it'll be reasonable field position, I would think, again, for Southwestern.
Kahanu Davis back to receive the kick, standing at the 30-yard line. And he waves his hand for the fair catch at the 24.
76 yards seems like a long ways away. It's not the end of the game yet.
11:31 remaining here in the fourth quarter. And I'm trying to find the quarterback. It looks like Stevie Orr back on the field for the Jaguars. You know, often you see different packages with different quarterbacks, but it looks like they're sticking with the same thing they ran with Inman. Right in motion. Hands off to Robinson, who's got a lot of looks here in the latter part of this second half. Gets a 7-8 yard run.
Titus Darling, former Granite Hills Eagle, made the stop. His brother scored a touchdown last night in the Eagles' loss to Madison.
Jourdain near side through the hand. That's Sean Bryant unable to bring it in, bringing up a 3rd and 4.
So, Bo, you can see they're not going to necessarily deviate. I mean, yes, if we get into a situation where we have to go downfield, but when we're trying to establish drives, we're going to stay with what they feel safe. I'm never going to question Coach Carberry on this.
At this point, I'm surprised we haven't seen a fake bubble screen yet, releasing one of those blockers deep. Or running for his life, unable to connect with his intended receiver. Jalen Poston.
Yeah, and a nice coverage there by my buddy, Chance Lovato. Been following his career now the last several years. Good kid out of El Capitan.
And another 3 and out for this Jags offense. Since Stevie Orr has come in, he's made some plays, but just hasn't looked comfortable. He's been on the run practically every drop back. That front line of the Griffins definitely making an impact here in this second half. This ball bounces at the 41, picked up by Perry Steele, trying to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, he's sure-handed, but you always worry, right? As a coach, you really never want your guy to go up and grab those loose punts in traffic like that. You're only asking for trouble, and it seems like only a great while and only the great stars can make something happen out of those plays.
Well, it's that point in the game where one big play could be the winner. So knowing that as a player, you take those additional risks to try to be that guy.
Look, Bo, I've made a few calls right in this game. I'm going to go out. It's going to be a crazy play that's going to decide this game. It might be a defensive play that seals it or something crazy.
Darty plants his foot, goes north, picks up 4 with 10:30 remaining here in the fourth quarter. At this point, if you're the Griffins, you would love to kill some clock and drive this ball down into scoring territory.
Look, this would be a big, big win for Grossmont. So, yes, I mean, as much as you want to extend your lead, you're 7-3, you've shown no hope of moving the football. Just a couple of first downs would be satisfactory to extend the drives a little bit.
Darty again, this time off the left side. Breaks a couple tackles and gains another 4 yards after the first contact.
Christian Cuffey was number 90 in there, freshman from Crestwood High in Sumter. First time we've called his name tonight.
And we hear some of the fans on the Griffin side. They appreciated that broken tackle from Darty.
Yeah, like I said, Bo, my rough estimate, it's got to be 500 people here tonight, and that's pretty great.
Third and short, another handoff off the left side. A flag was thrown. The first down is picked up. We'll see if it negates the first down.
You think, right?
That was Keon Holloway with his first carry of the night.
Yeah.
And we have a false start against the Griffins, negating that first
button back about 2 seconds and see.
False start negates the first down, brings it up a 3rd and 7. Jags need a big stop right here to get the ball back down 4 with 9:04 remaining in the fourth quarter. 3 receivers come out to the near side. That's Steele and Monson. Steele on the outside. Monson goes to Monson. Gets that inside leverage on the safety. Jaheim Williams, and Monson with the big first down catch.
Great catch by Monson. Bo, it's one of the biggest plays of the game right there. He just gained like 7 yards. I'm not kidding. It extends the drive for Grossmont. They are in Southwestern territory. 8:39 to go. Bo, if this score remains the same, 7-3, this will be the lowest scoring community college game played between two San Diego teams since 1969, when Mesa beat City 3-2. I'm not kidding.
Wow. Holloway tries to stretch it outside, but a group of Jags rally to the ball for another tackle for loss. At this point, the Griffins are just playing with the clock right now, trying to kill as much time as possible with a 4-point advantage.
I wasn't at that game in
1969
because I wasn't even a year old. But it was 3-2.
Still the outside receiver here on the near side, guarded by Nsanko. And a blitz on the outside. Is that Williams?
What a game Williams has had. Are you sure he's a safety?
Yeah, well, it says it in the books. He definitely plays more closer to the line than free. I'd definitely say more of a strong safety, but
maybe he's been
all over the place.
Maybe he's been an end in this game.
They haven't blitzed him much, but I don't know if that was a defensive call or if he just saw something off the edge to take advantage of. But a huge sack from Williams as he heads back to the secondary as a safety. Yeah, Williams, whether it be tracking down ball players or ball carriers or the quarterback, he's done an incredible job here to start this 2021 season. It looks like we have a delay of game. I think with the Griffins so far out of first down, with it being 3rd and forever, they just kill some extra time knowing that the possibility of getting a first down is very minimal. Time is on the Griffins side. Safe to assume another run or a quick pass, but pressure up the middle by this Jags defense. This Jaguars defense has kept this team in the game.
Jariah Jackson, the San Diego Caver, got in there about as quick as the ball got back to the quarterback.
Yeah.
He was in the backfield.
I think that offensive line was expecting a quick pass, and it looked like Apt was trying to make it happen, but great coverage in the secondary from the Jags, creating that sack.
Look, both teams are going to have 2 more possessions left, given the fact that nobody can get a first down.
And this punt off the side of his foot.
That sets up exactly what I was saying, because right now it's six and change to go. You can hear the Southwestern sideline starting to perk up a little bit. They know this has to be the opportunity, if not to get points, because if you have to give the ball back, Grossmont isn't going anywhere. You could give the ball back and still get it back, but you have the ball right now on Grossmont's side of the field. This is the moment for the Jags.
Best starting field position in the second half for the Jags. Robinson gets the pitch near side, picks up a block downfield, and is tackled at the 40 for a nice gain of 6.
Chance Lovato. I see you, Chance.
Great pursuit by Lovato. And nice open field tackle on Robinson. Robinson's been the go-to guy in the backfield for the Jags here today. That's right in motion. They'll give it back to Robinson up the middle, and he'll get the first down. Moves the sticks for the Jags. 5:38 and counting in the fourth. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right for the Jags. Stevie Orr, right in motion. They'll give it back to Robinson. It worked once, and it works again. And it looks like he'll move the chains on back-to-back carries. I don't think we've said that all game here today, partner.
Running behind Big Eric Brendel, the Sweetwater Red Devil.
5:15 and counting in the fourth. And the Griffins coordinator didn't like what they saw, so they called the timeout before the snap, and that will stop the clock at 5:14.
So, Bo, I mentioned, people are probably saying, Ramon, you mentioned that game, Mesa 3, San Diego City 2. San Diego City doesn't play football. Well, of course they played football, but after that season, they were on a 33-game losing streak, so they scrapped football. But you know who the last team that that program beat just before they lost 33 in a row was? Grossmont. That's a little history on low-scoring games. And I don't want to see 10 points, okay? Southwestern needs to use a drive and get in the end zone. 5:14 to go. You could take a chance. If you can't get on the board, you can probably get the ball back one more time. But this, like I said, this is the moment. This is the chance. This is the opportunity.
At this point, with 5:14 remaining at the 25, we're looking at 4-down territory for the Jags. Right in motion. They're going to hand it off to Warren. Warren back in the game, his first carry in the second half.
Colton Guerrero right there. I tell you, some of these defenders that Grossmont has, they haven't, quite frankly, had over the past couple of years. So I think you will see improvement from the Griffin defense this season. Obvious.
Under 5 minutes remaining here in the fourth. Or trying to get a call from the sideline and doesn't come in quickly enough.
No, and that offensive line is looking good again all of a sudden. That we're not passing, we're running. So the offensive line is looking good on their blocks. I have to think right now that it's Grossmont linebackers that have to make the adjustment, pick up the slack right now because Southwestern's getting the push through the defensive line. So,
yeah, it's been really the first time all game that we've seen that offensive line get the push, allowing some lanes for the running backs. 4:43 on the clock here in the fourth quarter.
Now, look, what's working right now? Run it, right? 4:43. A field goal, not necessarily going to do it. I mean, you could kick a field goal and then maybe get the ball back again and kick another field goal and win this game. But right now, stick with what works. I think we got to keep pounding that football in there with 4:43 to go. There's enough time to run the football into the end zone on a drive, especially given the success the Jaguars are having.
Right in motion once again. He'll stay in the block. Or with the deep ball, the one-on-one 50-50. Does he bring it in? Yes, he does. Christian Jourdain has come up with some great plays today, has dropped a couple balls, but comes through in the clutch with the touchdown.
Don't mind me, Bo. Don't mind me. Don't run the ball. Christian Jourdain went up. He high-pointed it, right? He got into a matchup of one-on-one. It looked like both players made their moves on the ball, and it looked like Jourdain made the winning move on the ball. The Grossmont player went up to make a try at a defensive play. Jourdain had the timing perfect. Caught that ball, makes the big touchdown, 9-7.
And the Jags tack on the extra point to give them a field goal lead with 4:36 in the fourth. We were talking about that one big play we had been waiting for all game, and Jourdain comes up with it.
I want to give Orr a lot of credit, too, for the pass. I mean, for that thrown ball. Look, how could a quarterback, maybe I'm not saying he'd lack confidence in this game, but he didn't, that was a strike to the end zone, a great grab. They were going for it.
Yeah.
They did not listen to me, Bo.
Or was backpedaling backwards on that throw. So,
no,
that's
a great point. He was pressured big time.
Yeah, and really at that point, just having trust in his receiver. They talk about receivers being guarded, but they're always open. Jourdain showed that he was able to take advantage of that one-on-one opportunity downfield.
That's a confidence builder, too, because so many times you might rely on your receivers to go make plays and you're just throwing the ball. And you don't always want to do that, right? You want to make the play with him and make sure you're putting it in a position for him to go up and get it. And I think that was a great example of that.
And the Jaguars with their first lead of the game. And the Griffins will get it at the 25.
Now, look, if there's any momentum, of course there's momentum out of that, but just the way you've been able to stop Grossmont, you have to feel very, very confident. Grossmont's going to have to take some shots. I mean, even with 4:36, they don't look like a team that's going to be driving right now. They're not making big plays either, but better probably a chance of making big plays and putting a drive together. I think we might see some gambling.
Still a lot of time on the clock. Two receivers to the left, two to the right for the Griffins. Ball to the outside, juggled initially, but Williams with the open field tackle for a 4-yard gain.
That's Kadeem Bakari out of Patrick Henry.
His first
with the catch,
of the game. 4:17 and counting here in the fourth quarter. Jaguars with their first lead of the game. Three receivers top side. Apt wanted to go near side to the single side. Tucks it in. Dives forward. A half-yard short of the first down, bringing up 3rd and inches.
I'm willing to jumbo it here. If you can't get a half a yard, you don't deserve to extend this. I mean, you're obviously going to, at 3:42, you're going to use a 4th down also. I would think, even though the Jaguars scored on the last try, they hadn't been going anywhere, but still, you're looking for just a push here to keep this going. You got time if you're Grossmont.
Brady Apt using his legs here in the fourth quarter. That's Darty, pushes the pile forward and moves the chains for a first down, tackled at the 39.
Yeah, Nolan Ray of Santana led the push there for Grossmont to get that first down. 3:15 and counting, ball at the 39.
Darty still in the backfield. Monson on the 3-side receiver closest to the quarterback. He'll get a quick hit. Knew the hit was coming. Tucked after the catch. And it looks like we have another cramp.
But we've been here all. We're finally seeing some movement. Maybe we want to stay a little longer. We're not ready for this game to end now. I mean, we've patiently sat here. Grossmont's actually looking decent on this drive.
Just over 2:30 remaining here in the fourth. The Griffins putting together their best offensive drive. Apt rolls left and is brought down by a team of Jaguars.
Yeah, somebody's going to get credit for that sack, and maybe it's Andrew Sola, but Apt tried to change his direction. It looked like he was going to maybe sprint to the sideline to try to get something. Changed his mind, said maybe I'm going to go up the middle. But turned out he was bit by the turf monster and took a loss.
And the Griffins going to get up to the line quickly. This throw to the outside, unable to connect with Perry Steele, and that will bring up a 4th and 10 with 1:59 on the clock.
Apt just needed to be patient there. Steele ran the route correctly. Looked like he was open. Maybe he could have cut it a little shorter. The ball was in the air a long time, but the play was actually there for Grossmont. 2 minutes to go and a 4th down, Bo.
Got to go for it if you're the Griffins at their own 39. Perry Steele, the near side receiver on the outside. It's either him or Monson, you would think, here on 4th down. They go to the slot receiver. Can he come down with it? What a grab! Brown Jr. with the catch. Extends the drive for the Griffins.
Yeah, young man out of Chicago, 5'10", 205-pounder over-the-shoulder catch, and the Griffins now have it at the 27.
Their biggest play from this receiving core comes from a guy who hasn't seen the field much today and comes up with the biggest play here in the second half.
You talk about the ghost to the post. The man was literally with his back horizontal to the turf when he made that grab. Good pass, terrific catch. I'm still talking about it.
120 and counting here in the fourth quarter. And I hope they didn't get called for a delay game. Oh, false start. Not as good.
No, you can't have that happen to you right about now. Ironically, the penalties have kind of disappeared over the last couple of minutes while the play has gotten better.
Right. And the clock is still running.
No doubt. I don't want to say it's 10-7 right now. They're getting close to field goal range. I don't want to say it.
2nd and 11. Deep ball near side to Steele. And well covered by the Jags secondary.
Yeah, that wasn't the right situation there for this. Maybe a little bit of panic because now you're sitting there with a 3rd and 11. Would have liked to just seen a little bit of yardage maybe there for Grossmont. Now I think they're in a situation where, look, you want to get another first down, but you might also, I don't know, take another shot down, take 2 shots downfield.
Perry Steele, the single-sided receiver near side. Throws it deep and broken up by the Jaguars corner.
Yeah. Arnold Asanso, what a play. He came through. He's made some good plays tonight, and what could you say? He got the fingertips on it. That was textbook defense. Good pass, good route run, too. You needed a great defensive play right there, and Asanso made the play. Great play. Now Grossmont, 4th and 11. They're going to go for a game-tying field goal here. This is be a 45-yarder, but a timeout it looks like.
You know, I want to go back to that pass. Nice ball by Apt, and Sanko hip to hip turned his head perfectly. His best defensive play, considering it could have been a possible game-winning touchdown for the Griffins.
Yeah. And, you know, when you're a defensive back and you see that, I'm sure you're just like, you think you have a beat on the play and you want to make it, and it was a great play. It was a game saver. Would have taken a great catch. It would have taken an extraordinary effort. But the play was there. It was going to be something was going to happen on that play.
And we don't have a name for the kicker, but he has a chance to tie the game. This would be a 45-yard field goal for the Griffins. He missed one from about 35 out. This one is from 45 from the near hash. Good hold, good snap. The kick is up.
Wide
and it's no
left.
good.
Wide left. Southwestern's going to hang on and win this one.
Southwestern had the lead for all but 4 minutes or so. And it looks like they're going to leave Devore Stadium winning week 1.
Great kick, great try, good distance, wide left. Good pressure too by the Jags.
Those are the ones that are going to keep you up at night if you're the kicker. A couple feet to the right, this game could have very well went into OT. I want to say Grossmont has 2 timeouts remaining. So it looks like the Jags will run a couple plays. Or they're just going to kneel it. Let's see if Grossmont calls a timeout. And a personal foul will all but end it.
That was terrible.
Yeah, you hate to see that.
Yeah, I mean, Do you want to be on a football team? It's an ejection, right?
I would think so. I would think so. Or maybe not, knowing that it's so close to the end of this game.
No, I think.
But I'm sure he's going to get an earful from his coaches.
Well, you folks saw it. No reason to rehash it. Go back and look at it again. It's not something you want your team doing on a football field, especially when the other team is basically in victory formation. So the Jags will survive. They'll be 1-0.
Not the prettiest of wins, but it is a win in week 1. And they'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, Jourdain, the touchdown catch, play of the game, just in time, saved the game for us, Bo.
You know, we were talking about that one big play, and it didn't come until about 4 and some change left, and it was a Jaguar receiver who struggled through most of the game with a couple drops. But primetime players come up in primetime situations, and Jourdain did just that for the game-winning touchdown.
And a big win for Southwestern, Bo. And first game, okay. You know what? We can almost. What do we do now? We can delete the chip or whatever we do nowadays, right? We don't throw away the film. We don't necessarily have to go back, and there will be, especially in the trenches, looking to work things out there for sure. For Southwestern, there are questions moving forward. This team did not perform tonight as we expect them to perform. Opposite is true, I think, for Grossmont. They may have come in and, while a little bit buggy themselves, maybe played a little bit over their expectations, considering the final score.
And a couple players that stood out to you on the Jag side. Obviously, defensively, they played well, only allowing 1 touchdown.
Yeah, well, I'd probably go with Jaheim Williams as my player of the game. Of course, I thought Jace Fuamatu was a big influence early in the game, and also the big play by Arnold DeSanto in the end zone. Maybe the defensive play of the game, the way he went and knocked that ball away. So if I had to give you 3 stars from the Jags tonight, that'd be them.
Another name to mention is Andrew Kirk. He was big in that first half, but then came up ailing, so we don't know. We could assume he wasn't 100% in that second half, but a couple big plays. The safeties played well today. Sideline to sideline, this defense moved really well against the Griffins.
Yes, I agree with you. Look, what I thought I saw from Grossmont is enough to make me concerned about the way Southwestern handled their side of things. Not saying that, look, I touted Grossmont as coming in here and being an improved team, so they did give Southwestern fits. Will they continue to give teams fits? I don't know about that, but I think they are improved. But Southwestern will feel like they got out alive with this one tonight.
Christian Jourdain with the big play of the game. You know, Stevie Orr, the backup quarterback, coming in, eluding pressure, backpedaling, throws a 50-50 ball, and Jourdain comes down with the game-winning catch.
Look, I don't think you're going to see anything different from Coach Carberry moving forward in the Southwestern quarterbacking situation. And you saw when Orr came in, kind of the same type of play calling. So we could see both guys still, I think, in the future. Like I said, it's not uncommon for Carberry to run both his quarterbacks out there in the fashion that he did tonight.
Inman played well at the beginning of the game, then those couple turnovers. Just a different player in that second half, one of the reasons why Stevie Orr came in. But it was the right move, and Carberry's made that move before, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and the Southwestern defense, I mean, their coaching staff, they've been together, a long, long time. Coach Monterez and their staff, been together a long time. So I'm pretty sure that they're proud of the effort tonight, only allowing Grossmont 7 points. I mean, maybe Grossmont isn't bringing the best offense out here right now, but I think that it's something you can be proud of, especially considering where we are tonight. I think everyone can be proud of being here tonight, from the fans to the officials to our crew up here. Just great to be back with football. We can't underestimate it. Look, we're just hoping and praying that we can just all continue to move forward and make things better. But when we can get out and do these normal things, we feel like, well, things are a little bit back to normal, even if the offenses aren't.
And we had lights go out, but we still got through our first regular season game in 2021. Coach Canberry and the Jags opened the season with a win. And that will do it here from Cali Photo Network. To my cameraman, Kevin Bear on the top, and Tim Gahn down at the field, our producer, Pablo Espinal, and my partner who really carried me through this broadcast, Ramon Scott. This is Bo Furtick saying thank you for tuning in to Cali Photo Network. Until next time, see you next week here on the Jaguar.